Good morning. Welcome to Sunday breakfast. It's a new month, the month of June. Our month has ended, unfortunately. But
Happy new month, guys. Yeah.
Happy new month. We're glad you're joining us this Sunday. As usual, we have a lot for you. But before we give you just a bit of what we have, my name is Enu Safwa. As usual, I don't do this alone. I do this with...
My name is Jude Duncan. And like Enu rightly said, it's a new month. We wish you all the warmth, the peace, and the tranquility, really, you need to ensure your month goes as you plan, really. So happy new month, guys, and welcome to Sunday breakfast.
Right. As usual, the show is live and interactive, so you can go across all social media platforms with the hashtag Sunday Breakfast. Do send in your messages, your requests, your concerns, and we will definitely read them on the show. Alternatively, you can use the WhatsApp number 0204-447-033. 0204-447-033. Right. We have a couple of shows for you. You know, when it's June, when Channel 1 and City, we hit June, we're doing something business. And so we're going to be starting our City Business Festival from Monday. And basically, the City Business Festival is broken into weeks where we pick a specific topic and then we address it during the week. And so it starts from the 1st to the 30th of June, proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited. And we're starting tomorrow with the on-air series. So, and it's Savings 101. We're talking Savings 101. Starting Monday, 2nd June 2025, 9 a.m. on 97.3 City FM, and then 10 a.m. on Channel 1 TV. And we have a financial consultant and executive coach, Doris Ahiati. She will be leading that charge, teaching us about savings. I think everybody needs to listen, tune in, and get a bit of that. So City Business Festival, Savings 101, the on-air series starts tomorrow, 9 a.m. on 97.3 City FM and 10 a.m. on Channel 1 TV. As usual, is powered by Channel 1 TV, 97.3 City FM, sponsored by ABSA, MTN, and Zonda Tech. And then still within the month, we have the Agri Fair. And it'll be later on in the month from the 20th to the 22nd at the Ifwa Sutherland Park. And it's the biggest, mind-blowing exhibition and sale of fresh farm produce, all coming to one place, the Ifwa Sutherland Park. And it will be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. So for 3 days, come and shop, come and get all livestock, poultry, all your veggies, all your food stuff for the month or more at the Agri Fair, fresh farm produce, so from farm to table. It's free to enter, but just make sure that you come with a pocket full of cash or a mobile money full of cash. So you can call 0205-973-973 for further information, 0205-973-973 for further information. Thanks to our amazing sponsors, Exim Bank, Legacy Crop International, and Development Bank Ghana. Right?
Amazing. You know the way we say March is Heritage Month?
Yeah.
May, April, I'm not really sure, but there are some things in between. Then May is like family month, right? So June is strictly business.
Strictly business.
So if you have a business idea, you're not sure how to grow it, to scale it, you know, you want to venture into some industries or sectors you're not really sure about. And sometimes just, you know, financial education, financial literacy, really. So we'll be looking for it, both the on-air series and some other exciting events lined up. There's also the management boot camp.
Yes.
You know, so that you need to also call to register ahead of time. So amazing. Just look forward to the CBF, the City Business Festival, as we call it, right here on Channel 1 TV and City FM. Is it a good time to delve into the papers?
Yes.
More like the online portals.
The portals. And I have channel1news.com opened.
Yeah.
The one is the digital one. channel1news.com. Some of the stories you'll find. NDC's Adekoka passes on.
What? You know, I've opened the
the portal.
I've opened the portal, right?
You've seen his face.
I've seen his face.
But you haven't read.
But I've not seen the headline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
NDC's Adekoka passes on.
May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Definitely.
I think he hadn't been well for some time. You know, so when he was, I think, Greater Accra Regional Chairman, prior to the 2020 election, when they lost the election, he went off the radar for a very long time. You know, only to come back just before the 2024 elections. I think Sanda interviewed him in between and he spoke about his health at the time, you know, but he looked fine. It's been on Channel 1 TV just a couple of weeks ago, you know. Rather unfortunate. May his soul rest in peace.
Right. Other stories you'll find on channel1news.com. NPP bigwigs using Wumtumi's case for political campaign. That's according to Martin Pebu. Mahama pledges modern regional hospital for a half region. Ghana to export 2,000 workers under Mahama's new labor deal. New cocoa price to be announced in August. That's according to the president. When you come down to trending stories, some of the stories you'll find there. We've lost reading culture in Ghana. Fifi Coleman said that on the chat. Accra drivers abandon direct routes. Commuters demand government action. This thing is actually very prominent in Kumasi. It's a short. If I see her, oh my goodness.
Is it what they call the pragya?
No.
That's different.
No, that's different. Pragya is the yellow tutut.
Yeah.
Yes.
But which one is this one?
It's churchill, all right. But instead of, let's say, they're going from here to maybe Ofanko or from Abeka to Circle, they go to from Achimota to Circle, they go Achimota to Abeka, then they reload Abeka to Circle. So shots.
Is it more?
They get more money.
They get more money.
The passenger become frustrated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, or they'll say they're going to Circle Street 10 cedis. And you know that it shouldn't be that amount.
I feel you. I get the business model now.
And so they're asking government action on that. Other stories you'll find on the Channel 1 News portal. Pelpio co-chairs ILO conference. Fifi Coleman revives Ghanaian heritage with stage play The Dilemma of a Ghost. Mahama will act if Wumtumi's right is being violated. That's according to Suhini. Maha Beach Resort fire originated from nearby facility, management clarifies. GTEC issues final warning against use of honorary doctorate. Wumtumi not on hunger strike. That's according to his lawyer. Plane carrying Liberian president involved in landing scare.
Amazing. And let me start off with the citynewsroom.com. Like you rightly pointed out, also here, former Greater Accra NDC chairman Adekoka, Joseph Ni Adekoka passes away. May his soul rest in peace. Moving on, Ghana Labour Export Program to be launched soon. That's coming in from President John Mahama. Ghana to deepen labour reforms through international collaboration. That's coming in from the Labour Minister Rashid Pelpo, who's also our Central MP. Bill review application can't block Wumtumi's release if conditions are met. And that's private legal practitioner Martin Pebu speaking there. He was on CNR last night with Umar Sanda. Ghana's mining sector puts a record 17.7 billion revenue in 2024. Mahama orders immediate completion of Maban-Guaso Highway. Also in the news, President Mahama pledges 200,000 hectares to boost cocoa production. In the Savannah region, 2 dead in a crash on the Bole-Damongo Highway. Give up the fight and move on, Franklin Kujo tells suspended Chief Justice. And an international human rights lecturer or professor at the University of Ghana School of Law, Professor Apeje Etua, was on the big issue yesterday, and he said that Wumtumi's arrests and the minorities' protests were needlessly over-dramatized. And that's coming in from Professor Apeje Etua. And also still on the Wumtumi arrest, MPP's protest driven by political ambitions and not solidarity. That's from Ramsa Suhini, who is a communications team member of the NDC. And very briefly, Parliament ratifies WTO agreement on fisheries subsidies. The story comes with a photograph of the fisheries minister. And also, a security analyst, Mr. Richard Kumado, has said on the Wumtumi arrest that the protests by the MPP MPs were unreasonable. So these are the big stories on citynewsroom.com. If you don't have any, I could just jump to Ghana News Agency very briefly.
Okay, I have Graphic opened, graphiconline.com. Some of the stories you'll find. Police arrest man for unlawful possession of firearm in Aponting. Police arrest 3 in Esuboni with large quantities of Indian hemp. Mentally challenged person beheads man in Tema. Commuters cry over potholes on Kaneshikaswa Highway. Others. Diasporan investor pleads for justice after farm attack. Government to establish 2 universities in Bono East. President Mahama says so. Ghana UAE signed $1 billion deal to build tech hub. Targets over 11,000 foreign companies. Chronicling Ghana, Liberian leads historic effort to compile country's first encyclopedia. Build networks across frontiers to fight illicit financial flows, Ioko tells journalist. Atiwa District NAT elects new officers. Oda MP donates uniforms to needy JHS pupils. Cape Coast NAT holds quadrennial delegates conference. Ghanaian female peacekeeper receives top UN military award. And Volta Lake Corridor, a 24-hour economy dream or development dilemma. Promoting menstrual health, 2,000 Bono Ahafo Northeast school children receive training and sanitary pads. All right, you can do GNA now.
Some headlines from the Ghana News Agency. President Mahama rallies citizens for unity, determination, discipline, and nation building. He's been speaking a lot on his thank you tour, which is currently at the Ahafo region. Parliament approves 10 billion for National Health Insurance Authority. The Deputy Attorney General, this news came much earlier in the week. He said Wumtumi is under investigation for fraud and money laundering. Presidential spokesperson salutes peacekeepers on International Day of UN Peacekeepers, which was on May 29. And finally, Ghana's Saminu is the world's fastest man this year as he breaks national record. So Ghanaian sprinter Abdul Rashid Saminu, who is based in the US, doing exploits in the athletics arena. And like I said yesterday on the show, a mentally challenged person, beheads a man in Tema. And these are some of the big stories. Also here, government allocates 22 million for forts and castles rehabilitation. Enormous potential to boost tourism. We'll see how that particular one goes. I think we can delve into some of the stories now.
Right. I have opened the sad story. NDC's Adekoka passes on channel1news.com. That story reads, City News can confirm that former Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NDC, Joseph Kobna Adekoka, has passed away. The exact cause of his death is not yet publicly known, but sources indicate that he died at the Bank Hospital after a short illness. Adekoka was widely recognized for his outspoken criticism of governance and political issues and was deeply admired by the party's grassroots. He was first elected as the NDC's Greater Accra Regional Chairman in 2009. He served 3 consecutive terms until he lost the position in 2022 to the current chairman, Emmanuel Niashimo. Before assuming the political role, Adekoka also served as the vice chairman of the Ghana Football Association. And that's the story on by our presidential correspondent, Akosia Ochri.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
So I think in 2022, he lost the Greater Accra NDC chairmanship position to Niashimo, who, also is well known within the region, was former member of parliament for Adenta constituency. But Adekoka had a thing about his communication. He was and was easily accessible. As a producer of current affairs shows here at Channel 1 TV, I used to deal with him quite often. Really nice guy. If he would come, he would come. If he wasn't comfortable talking about a topic or a subject area, he would tell you point blank, and he said it as it is. I remember one of the very first, when Channel 1 TV started, at City TV, and when we were back in Adabraka, he had this really interesting thing he had said we had used for an ad on Breakfast Daily. He was accusing government of being flimsy, and he was just throwing around the adjectives, and it was an interesting thing. And he actually said this, the exact quote I can't really remember, but to point to the fact that if he turned bomb, yes, if the economic fundamentals are weak, to say that if the political leadership was weak, everything will come crumbling. And this was in the peak of 2022 when the economy was taking a serious downturn. So I think the NDC will be poor for his loss. He's left at a time when he seems to enjoy a lot of goodwill, where they would have needed some of their communicators to still hold the fort. And because we didn't see him go into government, or we didn't hear him go into mainstream government, which meant he was still doing party work. And sometimes if you're a party in opposition, or if you're a party in government, you need very strong people still holding the fort at a party level, communicating and protecting, the image, especially if you have the goodwill like the NDC has. And I think the NDC will be poor for his loss. But I think Ghana and the NDC, or the NDC and by extension Ghana, had a person who communicated very well, and I think in his own little way has contributed to, the progress we've seen in this country. So may his soul rest in perfect peace. He was a really good. He was a good man. He was a good man.
I can even tell in your voice.
Yeah,
You're shocked.
Because I've dealt with him a couple of times, and yeah.
Okay.
It's quite unfortunate.
Any stories from your end?
Yeah, I want to bring you an interesting story because cocoa farmers will be happy. Yesterday on the show, we had a long one, right, on the back end for the EU deregulation policy and the fact that cocoa has become a major concern for a lot of people because of the challenges within the sector. I spoke about smuggling. I spoke about the swollen shoot disease. I spoke about galamsey. Now the president is in the Ahafo region, and as part of his thank you tour, he's pledging 200,000 hectares to boost cocoa production. Story by Patricia Boache from the City Newsroom. The story reads, President John Dramani Mahama has announced a bold plan to expand Ghana's cocoa sector by adding 200,000 hectares of cocoa farms to the country's production capacity. The president, who is currently touring the Ahafo region as part of his national thank you tour, announced on Saturday, May 31, emphasizing his government's commitments to reviving the once thriving cocoa industry. Plans are underway to revamp the cocoa sector. Incentives will be provided to our hardworking farmers to increase cocoa production. We aim to add 200,000 hectares of cocoa to Ghana's output to increase the income of our farmers, he stated. He further disclosed that the chief executive of Cocoa Board, Randy Abe, had informed him that a new cocoa producer prize will be announced in August, which he assures farmers would be a very good prize. The story goes on to quote him as saying, so those of you who do not have cocoa farms, go and start looking for land and start planting cocoa. He encouraged. The story goes on to talk about some of the challenges the sector has experienced, in recent years. So we'll be keeping the president to his word. Cocoa farmers haven't had the best of years in recent times, although the price was recently increased by the previous administration. They still cite so many challenges within the sector. So once we are providing land and incentives for cocoa farmers to come back to business, to increase the sector, in terms of production, I hope that other challenges within the sector too. So for example, the galamsey issue is still big. We were told that people were giving out lands, cocoa lands to galamseyers, right? All of those things needs to be checked. And of course, the smuggling aspect of it. Hopefully, the new production price will check the smuggling aspect. But obviously there's a lot more we need to do in the
They
area.
smuggle to Togo too, because Togo has better prices than Ghana, and so they smuggle
And
to
Cote
Togo
d'Ivoire too.
and Cote d'Ivoire, and then they
and
get better.
sometimes you can't really fault them,
You
even though smuggling is wrong, and we need to stage that. But who doesn't? Every businessman aims to maximize profits, right? So, yeah.
Have you watched that documentary where I think it was DW or one of these foreign channels came to Ghana and went around with a cocoa farmer, and he's never tasted chocolate before. That was surprising to me, but
to think that somebody in the
the sector has never tasted it before. It was.
I
think we should stay with President Mahama because he's saying a lot in the Ahafo region. He's also pledging a modern regional hospital for them, and also to export.
We've seen this thing before. I hope we don't change his name to King Promise .20 because the manifesto is there.
When I heard it, I'm like, Mahama is still making promises.
I know, right? Like we've seen your manifesto. Please, you just stick at it and let's move.
Because in 4 years, it's just 4 years.
Exactly.
I mean, for him at least. And then the next government, whether NDC or MPP, will come and take over. Here's a country that doesn't have a development plan. So everybody comes with their own plan. So within the 4 years, if you're unable to do this regional hospital for them, it's a promise that you have failed.
Then they'll start and they'll commit money to it.
Thank you.
Then the project is hanging.
And then you see the foundation and the land, and then it'll be left bare.
If you're not lucky, it's a big deep hole. And will become a swimming pool. Charlie, we for do better. Sometimes it's so tiring speaking about it.
You realize if you check the news, right, we literally say the same thing over and over and over and over again.
I agree.
Yeah. I think we should touch on the Wumtumi case briefly. So MPP bigwigs using Wumtumi's case for political campaign, according to Martin Pigbu. Private legal practitioner Martin Pigbu has criticized senior members of the New Patriotic Party for allegedly turning the detention of Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernardine Chibuese, popularly known as Chairman Wumtumi, into a political campaign tool. Speaking on Channel 1 Newsroom with Umari Sanda on Saturday, Pigbu accused top NPP figures of exploiting Wumtumi's legal troubles to serve their internal political interests ahead of the 2028 elections. Reacting to this, Pigbu questioned the motives behind the continued detention and urged the party to improve internal coordination to avoid further confusion and public harassment.
And I understand where this is coming from.
Week.
A lot of people have said the same thing, right? So, for example, Ramsa Suini was on Big Issue yesterday, and he said that bigwigs within the party were politicizing it, and now it's become an internal MPP, issue. And it stems from an interview Andy Appiah-Kubi, who is former member of parliament for Asante Akim North. He lost his seat in the just ended elections. I think he lost the primaries. No, he lost the main election to an NDC person. He's lawyer for Chairman Wumtumi. And in recent weeks, Andy Appiah-Kubi had come out to state or announce his political leanings within the MPP, intra-party politics I'm referring to. So he endorsed the candidature of Brian Champon, who has later to come back to say he's going to consult and form a committee to determine whether or not, but clearly he had come out to endorse Brian Champon. Now you have the other faction, of course, the Kennedy Japan faction. Earlier in the week, we had even heard that Kennedy was willing to stand as surety for Chairman Wumtumi. That story, we didn't know how it ended, but for some reason, it just fizzled out.
It didn't materialize.
Don't forget the political tension that has ensued in the past between Kennedy Japan and Chairman Wumtumi, right? And to the extent that some supporters within the Ashanti region have accused Kennedy Japan of sabotage within the whole process, right? And now you have the Baumia faction also coming out to go and visit Chairman Wumtumi when he was so we're told he had been moved from Iyoko to NIB. Now, if you listen to the minority leader, he said that when the vice president got to the NIB premise, right, he was allowed entry, as a sign of courtesy because, of course, he's a former vice president. You can't, treat him anyhow. So he went there in the company of some senior MPP MPs, including the minority leader, and he was told at the NIB office that he was not allowed access to Chairman Wumtumi because
EOCO had not sanctioned it.
EOCO has not sanctioned it, and the case under which Chairman Wumtumi is being investigated for was being handled by EOCO. Now, the night before, and the appeal Akubi had also granted an interview saying that, oh, they had secured the bill. In fact, Brian Champo had come to stand in, and they were going that night. In fact, he even praised EOCO for, cooperating in the whole process, coming out, helping out and everything, and their willingness to go and finalize the document that suggests that the 50 million bill requirement had been met. Now, Apia Akubi says that a new application has been filed, right? He didn't mention names, but, of course, reports very widely circulated in the media suggest that some other faction within the MPP had gone to file trying to reduce or vary, for government to vary the bill application. And that has got a lot of people talking because they're like, if the bill requirement had been met, why is it still there? But, for me, beyond that, I like the candid approach some persons within the space have taken. Martin Kpebu was a very, a vociferous
against the
critic
MPP government. Against
MPP. But he's come out to say that, look, it is not proper to keep him in detention for this long without bail, right? So I think that government should be minded about some of these comments and how it doesn't give a good look. But of course, they will say that we have done everything within our part as government. We've provided bail terms, which again, we are being told by some legal analysts that it is not outrageous. People have said that, oh, 50 million bail
is outrageous.
But the point is that in the past, based on the personalities also involved, to be fair, he drove a Bentley to his first invitation, and I'm talking to Chairman Wumtumi. On the second invitation, he drove a Corvette, right? He wanted to buy Chelsea Football Club for $3 billion. You don't know how serious with that bid. But
landed sureties.
Yeah.
So maybe he does not have,
Yeah, but your circle of friends,
I'm
should
sure they would have paid it.
But that's not even my focal point. At the end of the day, we are being told that he had those, he had people standing for him, right? But it seems there's the political angle to all of this that you can't, even
I
the
feel
way
like you mentioned a couple of names, Baumia, Kennedy, and I feel like the fact that they all stepped in, they put whatever issues they had aside and they came together as NPP to help support the Ashanti regional minister.
But it wasn't clearly the case. When Baumia
How
went
is
there,
it not clearly
when
the
Baumia
case?
went there on Friday,
He brought himself.
When Baumia went there on Friday,
yeah,
he went there. I'm not sure in what capacity. Maybe as
he went there as probably the flag bearer or as a leader of the party.
He's not a leader of the party anymore.
Well, he was a leader of the party.
So you'd have thought that maybe some people have said that, oh, he could have gone there together with other, known persons hoping to have contested him. Now, what makes this whole thing even more murky?
I don't understand what you just said.
He could have gone there with Kennedy. He could have gone there with Brian.
But Kennedy had already offered his services.
I think Adoration was there.
And if at that time the rest of them, as you mentioned, were busy, they wouldn't be able to come.
So that's what people are saying. That's not even my opinion, right?
They wouldn't have been able to come. The fact that he went there is enough for me. That they are putting party, whatever, shenanigans aside and focusing on helping the one person who has been in jail for over 48 hours.
We also need to pay attention to I don't think it's a level playing field because you have a former vice president, right? None of them who are wanting to contest have been president or vice president before. So it puts him in a sort of a different or an unfair advantage in that he couldn't have gone to sit on the floor. He couldn't have gone to EOCO to protest. When he got there, they gave him
they gave him access to the facility.
Which may not have been done for other candidates. And imagine if Baumia had gone there and that day they had released Chairman Wumtumi. The headlines, oh!
Baumia secures
bill. Right? When maybe it might not have even been the case. And like I said, let's not lose sight of Apia Akubi's leanings, because that also gives an indication, right? So if we're even told, in fact, the special aide to the former vice president posted on Facebook that the president or the vice president, the former vice president, had done some work to meet the bail conditions for Chairman Wumtumi. All of a sudden, we hear a different thing from Apia Akubi, right? So clearly, there's some internal party politics, issues going on. But I want to say to the Attorney General and the EOCO, the investigative bodies, that they shouldn't, draw too much on what is happening in another party to also take advantage or an undue advantage. They should go about the law, investigate him. Don't infringe on his rights. The law clearly states that you can't keep somebody in custody for 48 hours without
taking him to court.
Taking him to court, right? Without prosecuting him. So let's do this with strong fidelity to the law, right? If he's found guilty, now you have been told that another businessman around has been arrested.
Yeah, the car dealer.
A car dealer had been arrested who sells cars near the MPP court. We don't know. That was Haruna Mohammed, deputy MPP general. So I think that timely updates, number one, is the way to go. And they should prosecute this matter, or they should investigate it without fear or favor. And they should go the full length, right? And at each point, engage Ghanaians so we know where the case stands at what.
I think we've said on this show before that security operatives do not give updates. They do not communicate. They do not, use us, the media, to propagate their stories or to tell us how cases, like we don't know anything. If not for the Deputy Attorney General, we didn't even know why Wumtumi had been arrested by EOCO.
Exactly. He posted it on Facebook before the media jumped on it. Before the media jumped on it,
exactly. And so I think that was on Thursday or something like that. And so I feel like our security forces, our agencies need to at least, for the love of God, speak when it matters. I mean, maybe not all cases we need to know, but speak when it matters. You don't have to give us the nitty-gritty of the cases, but speak when it matters, so that the hearsays and the assumptions can be put to rest, because there's so much going on within the Wumtumi space we don't even know. Now we hear he secured bail, but he's still there. I don't know when they intend to release him. I mean, Apia Kubi said he had secured bail. So, I mean, maybe Monday, tomorrow.
Yeah, so he said that they had secured the bail, or they had met the bail requirement.
Yeah.
At which point, Yoko was even willing to go and, finalize the documentation and everything, go on site inspection and all of that, right? Now, there was another application by whom we don't know and whom he won't tell us, right? So I think your point is spot on. We've said a lot on this platform that if we look at some of these security agencies, for example, national security, they're not above the law.
Yeah.
We give them the necessary respect because, of course, security is a sensitive area. But like you've said, that doesn't mean that they don't owe an obligation to the public to tell us what they are doing. Elsewhere, the Secret Service, they give timely updates, right?
Exactly.
Because they don't even want the matter to escalate beyond a certain point. So I think that it's important that we told that line. And like I said, the AG, EOCO, NIB, whichever body is part of this investigation should, as
even
much as possible.
The police have begun, speaking now. So I think NIB and EOCO should take a cue from that and start speaking to us. All right. Ghana to export 2,000 workers under Mahama's new labor deal. A bit of the story reads, President John Dramani Mahama has announced that Ghana will soon begin exporting skilled labor to foreign countries as part of a newly introduced initiative aimed at reducing unemployment and enhancing international workforce mobility. Addressing residents of the Ahafo region during his thank you tour, President Mahama disclosed that the Ghana Labour Exports Program is set to be launched in the coming weeks, with an initial agreement already signed to send 2,000 temporary workers abroad. According to him, the program will provide opportunities for Ghanaians in various fields, including agriculture, construction, healthcare, hospitality, mechanics, and logistics, specifically roles such as electricians, welders, drivers, chefs, machine operators, warehouse supervisors, and caterers will be targeted. Mahama assured that the selection of workers for the program will be conducted fairly and inclusively, with representation from all 16 regions of Ghana. And the initiative is part of the government's broader strategy to tackle unemployment and provide Ghanaians, especially the youth, with international job exposure while contributing to national income through remittances.
Amazing. I've seen that the YEA, Basintali, they're already engaged in some kind of work on that.
I saw a tweet from him this morning.
And I've seen people say that it's important we get a proper policy framework that, addresses, in general, really, the scope of what our labor export program would be. So as is, we don't wake up one day and somebody will say, oh, I worked all these years, I didn't get this. My entitlements, my pensions, all of that hadn't been paid. It's important that we have a proper policy framework to guide our labor exportation, policy, and I think that will be a step in the right direction. In the past, we've benefited from people bringing in expertise into the country, right? So there was a whole returnees program. People had accumulated so many years of experience working outside. They came into the country, they started banks. You might not like the example, but the former finance minister, he worked many high-profile places. Wall Street started Ghana's first investment banking. Be it as it may, you may choose
I
to
just
like
wonder
his
if this is
politics
the
or
way
not,
to mitigate unemployment in the country.
It has its benefits. It has its benefits. So, for example, when they go and they work, they bring in remittances, right, to their families. They bring in forex into the country. They bring, so that has its advantages in terms of how a country can also. I was checking out the number the other time in terms of remittances brought into the country alone over a certain period, and one of the highest we've seen in terms of other sectors of how money is brought into the country. So clearly that's a good sign. There's also the knowledge transfer. Some of them go, they work 10 years, 15 years, they come back and they work in the hospital, they come and start a clinic somewhere, they work in a school as a teacher or a tutor, they come back, they come and start, they teach other people. So definitely it has its advantages, right? But there's also a concern about how the too much transfer of, for example, the exodus of our nurses create. I'm not necessarily sure about shortages because nurses in Ghana will keep producing and producing and producing, But I guess to a point where if all of your most skilled professionals are running out, then it's a problem, right? So there should be that balance. We've received a lot of Cuban doctors into this country.
And
we're
we've
better
also
off.
given them a lot of
Exactly, we're better off for it. So
health professionals.
The policy framework should address, all of these.
I'd actually really like to see the policy framework and better understand how it's going to work, because I don't know if that's one of the solutions to. I think we should do homegrown solutions to the unemployment problem and not shipping off people to solve it, or as a way to
I don't want to speak on it too much because I saw one that they
seen
are
the framework.
Want some people to Dubai or something. I'm like, okay, what are they going to do there? Who
They
do
said
you hold
handymen
accountable?
and women.
And some other countries with like very serious human rights, violations and human rights concerns. So my point is that if you are sending Ghanaian youth there en masse, who do you hold accountable if something goes wrong?
The government. Who else?
Yeah, but like who in the government? Who in the government? So we need to think through this very carefully, and like we've both agreed on the platform, find a proper approach in its implementation stage, so that we don't come back a year or two's time to say, oh, the people we send there, they've absconded, they are doing their own thing. Some of them even going because of assimilation, right? The assimilation process into the community becomes very difficult. The weather, so many challenges. Now they even become social misfits. Now the whole purpose of sending them there, is now some way. So I think we need to properly think through this thing, and I'm sure government has they have the people, they have the human resource, academia, bring them on board, fine tune it, and let's make it a proper policy. So I think that should be the approach.
Yeah. I want to touch on this. Accra drivers abandon direct routes. Commuters demand government action. So commuters in Accra are calling for urgent government intervention as commercial drivers increasingly abandon full station-to-station services in favor of segmented routes, resulting in higher fares, longer commute times, and mounting frustration. In recent weeks, many drivers along key transport corridors in the capital have resorted to operating shorter routes rather than offering direct services from pickup points to destination. Passengers are now being dropped off at midpoint stops and compelled to board additional vehicles to complete their journeys. The practice, especially rampant during peak hours between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., and in the evenings, enabled drivers to collect higher fares instead of charging a single flat rate for the full trip. Some drivers have also been accused of deliberately delaying departures to coincide with rush hour demand. During a visit by Channel 1 News to the Circle Transport Terminal, drivers who previously ran direct services to areas like Achimota and Taifa were seen ending their trips at intermediate stops such as Aveno, La Paz, or Neoplan. Commuters, visibly frustrated, described the system as exploitative and increasingly unreliable. Trust the Ghanaian to find a loophole in the system and utilize it to their own benefit.
Is it because of the 15% fare reduction?
Yes, because of the 15% fare reduction. They don't want to reduce it, so they're going to find a way around it to make more money.
But that should be illegal.
It is illegal.
So why are they doing it?
Because they can, I mean, because there are no checks and balances.
Oh,
and because, you see, we're talking, but they're not, like, give us the car numbers, where you loaded, which station they are, and then report them to their leaders. So that sanctions can be mitigated to them.
We should put him on the line.
Of course, because he needs to check his people.
Wow.
Anytime they come and ask for, increments in transport fares, they go sit down with the government and they agree. Now fuel prices are low.
And the fuel prices have indeed come down.
What's your excuse?
Yesterday, I bought 200 cedis. Oh, Charlie! Oh! Sometimes...
Is your excitement for me?
I bought for 200 cedis.
Is your excitement for me?
So usually, I don't want it to come down too much.
Yeah, otherwise when you buy then...
Exactly. So I had fuel. So it's not like I buy 200 every day.
So you just decided to top up so that it will go to F4.
Oh, I top out the 200 CD. I'm like, hey! Because sometimes, I remember the dark days.
It was the dark days.
The dark days.
Oh, yeah. You exaggerate.
It's TV. Don't let me say something.
Oh, my goodness. You are exaggerating.
Sunday, I
dark
wanted
days,
to get out.
saying.
No, darker days. Sunday, I wanted to get out from
but
the
people
car.
actually abandoned their cars. So, yes, there was a time. You could see people driving in a car with their windows down, no air conditioning.
Oh, they saw they don't have air conditioning.
No. I think I made a post on Twitter and Facebook, X and Facebook, saying that, hey, the fuel has gone up, so we won't use AC anymore now.
See, one day, me and so full attend. I said, no, you should come and show me. Because I couldn't believe it.
It was what? It didn't move?
It didn't move. So I think that we should appreciate the gains, while calling for sustained efforts. It's not enough just doing all of this, then in 6 months' time, it is back again,
Oh, there's a report. Is it from APSA that the business desk did on Friday that the city will, the dollar will appreciate against the city again and it would reach 14.
Bind it in Jesus' name.
We
bind any thought process and any unnecessary prediction.
It was said on Friday. The business desk. I don't know if I'll find it on our portal.
Don't find it. Don't find it. Because the dollar won't go anywhere again. You see,
so 14 cities is where they clock it at.
Bernard interviewed a professor at Legon, right? Professor Babu Atin. And he said that CD gaining strength against the dollar. Great news, right?
Yeah.
Rapid or not. But the point is that we should aim for stability, right? So it's not how fast you go in climbing up against the dollar,
right,
but rather how stable it is. So if it's even going to stable at a midpoint for some time, so that businesses can be able to make the necessary projections based on it, I think it's good, right? But it's difficult for the business community when the fluctuations are very rough. So for today, it's this rate. The following morning, you wake up, it's another rate. It makes it difficult for business. So we commend government for whatever they are doing that is bringing this down. We hope that it is sustained and it aims at stability.
Yeah.
But if they bring it to 5 cities,
on that 5 CD note.
To 5 cities, we manage it.
On Jude's wishes.
Oh, I know. It was 2021, 2020.
Is it 1
20.
CD?
It was 5 point something, almost 6 or thereabout.
If wishes were horses,
I would ride.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This week on the Upside Down Show, the untouchable DJ Mensa joins Frema Edinyame and Nana Tufo.
Did you have to compete for a session? What was it like back then?
It's not like today. It was, first of all, even to get the equipment is a problem. Yeah. I had to learn on the job because right after school, nobody was going to give me the equipment.
Yeah.
I had to buy my first equipment with a story. There was a DJ that came from the UK. At that time, it was aphrodisiac. He was, don't touch this until I come. Yeah. But I wanted to use it. He came and I was playing on set. Full house. He ejected
Are you serious?
the CDs out and threw them away.
Also featuring is Ash Benny, an energetic, vibrant musician.
With the rhythm of the music, everybody, Charlie make we party with the rhythm of the music. We go party.
Do you love magic? Join us as Manuel the Magician does his stuff. Make a date with us this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt only on Channel 1 TV.
This June, the business wave is back and it's bigger than ever. The City Business Festival 2025 on City FM and Channel 1 TV, where it's all about business. This June, we will be celebrating Ghanaian businesses, re-examining our business modules and practices through our business fora, and sharing knowledge through our on-air business discussions. Make a business date with the on-air series every weekday at 9 a.m. on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 City FM and 10 a.m. on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. From expert interviews to real-world insights to the tools you need to grow. Don't miss a single moment this June. It's the City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business. Only on City FM and Channel 1 TV. Your business, your future, your time is now. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and let's grow together. The City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business.
The City Business Festival 2025 is powered by 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN Business, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited.
Says, oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for He's good and for His mercies endure forever. Is anybody grateful for the goodness of God, for taking us through another week? Song says, I bring you now, I bring you now. When I look over my life and everything you have done for me, you've done for me, you are good and your mercy is forever. You are good and your mercy is forever. You are good and your mercy is forever. Your mercy is forever. Your mercy is forever. It is forever. It is forever. Oh, forever and ever. Oh, your mercy is forever. Lord, you've been my savior, redeemer, protector, my lover. That's who you are. That's what you've been to me. When I look over my life and every little thing you have done for me, you keep doing for me, oh, Samikaika. All the things you've done for me, I broke my chain in so I break I go my den now, oh, Samikaika. Every little thing you've done for me, I broke my chain in so I just came to say thank you, Lord. You are good and your mercy is forever. You are good and your mercy is forever. Oh Lord, you are good and your mercy is forever. Your mercy is forever. It is forever. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it is, oh, forever and ever, yes, Lord. Whoa, it is forever, yeah, forever, no, forever. If you have a grateful heart, wherever you are, say forever, forever. Your goodness is forever. No, 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 no. Oh, oh, oh. Thank you, Jesus. Forever, yeah. Thank you, I can. And your mercy is forever. You are good, and your mercy is forever. From January to December, it's forever. Oh, oh, oh. So, this next song is Odomi. The Bible says that we love him because he first loved us. It's a very simple song. Wherever you are, I just want you to join us sing. Oh no, yeah. Oh. Adome, yeah. Now make sure me don't need me, yeah. Yes, you don't me, yeah. Now make sure me don't need me, make sure me don't need me, yeah. You will never leave my side, no. Not in my darkest night, no, no. You will always raise your standard. When the enemy comes like a floodgate, no. Yes, you do, I don't torment your sea. That's the truth I can't deny. Yeah, your love never fails me. No, Adome. That means to me don't need me. Hey. Yes, you don't me. Yeah. That means to me don't need me. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Lord, you promise that you will stay with me. And you promise never to let me go. Oh no, in the morning, in the noontime, even in the deepest part of the night, your love never fails me. Oh no, oh no, no, no. Adore me, adore me. That means to me, don't need me. Say yes, you don't want to lift your voice, say adore me, adore me. Oh na na na, yeah. That means to me, don't need me. Means to me, don't need be. Intimate, oh, metal, oh, nama soul, yeah, yeah. This is my promise to you, Lord. Metal, oh, nama soul, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, metal, oh, Makumenina bado, yeah, yeah. Oh, and it's meadow, meadow. Mede makumenina bado, yeah, yeah. Oh, he loves me. I know it, that Jesus loves me, yeah. Lord, he loves me. Yes, I believe it. Jesus loves me. He loves me. No, 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 no. He loves me. Yeah. Come on. Oh, na, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, my Jesus, he loves me. Oh no, oh no. Ooh. I'm going to do the song. Title is His Coming. It's actually like a Ramsa song. Just to remind all of us that Jesus is coming again. And everything we do, we need to still keep this in mind. Walked on the sea, raised the dead, fed the multitude. He made the blind see, healed the leper. He rescued the prostitute. He was beaten to pain and he was crucified. He did it all for me and he did it all for you. For this reason he gave us his word that will know the difference between the good and the bad as we go through life, so we could tell the world about his love. Oh, tell the world about his love. He's coming back, not to seek and to save, but to take us away. He's coming back now, so make up your mind now. He's coming back, not to seek and to save, but to take us away. Jesus is coming back, so make up your mind now. Oh, yeah, yeah. Make up your mind now. Forget about the past, focus on now. Because we're moving forward. Live a good life, man, just be real. No more lies, no pretense, No, for this reason he gave us his word, that we'll know the difference between the good and the bad as we go through life, so we could tell the world about this love. Oh no, the world about his love, saying that it's coming back, not to seek and to save, but to take us away. Jesus is coming back, so make up your mind, make up your mind. It's coming back, not to seek and to save, but to take us away. It's coming back, so make up your mind, make up your mind. Oh, oh, make up your mind, make up your mind. Whoever you are, wherever you are, make up your mind. It can be any time, it can be any time. Make up your mind. Oh, so make up your mind, make up your mind. More, make up your mind, make up your mind.
Traditional Council, on behalf of the entire Ghana state, announces the annual ban on drumming and noise making as part of the sacred rites leading to the Homo Festival.
Ghana mamu, Timfe anali, Apesin, Imlai Niko, Omadumo, Omeni, Wakusuni, Wakabachuni.
The ban across the Ghana state will take effect from Monday, May 12th to Thursday, June 12th, 2025. However, Osu, La, Teshi, Nungwa, Tema, Boom, Pram Pram, and Ningo traditional areas will observe their bans separately, with dates to be announced by their various councils. During this period, all visitors are required to comply with the following regulations. Religious activities to be confined within premises without the use of external loudspeakers, no drumming, clapping, or use of musical instruments in public places, no roadside evangelism or street preaching with loudspeakers. There will be no funeral or burial ceremonies within this period up until the 20th of June 2025. This practice is not only a cultural tradition, but also protected under the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, ensuring the preservation of our customs and identity. A dedicated task force, in collaboration with the Regional Security Council, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, as well as the Ghana Police Service, will strictly enforce compliance. We urge all residents, institutions and visitors to respect this sacred tradition as we uphold our cultural heritage and foster social harmony. Nyacha, Nyo Manyaba.
Yo, Green, you no go job. You look unhappy and seem to be in pain.
I have this long-standing well at my anus and it keeps coming and going. I feel sick and so uncomfortable, bro.
Have you taken into consideration going to the hospital?
I've been to several hospitals and they keep telling me the same thing. They said it's anal fistula. I have to undergo a surgery. I'm scared I might not be able to hold my stool if I do this surgery.
Wait, have you considered seeing a proctologist?
Which one is that? What, do we have proctologists in Ghana here?
Bro, we have a lot of them. They are being trained every time.
Where can I?
Charlie.
An anal fistula is an abnormal tract which connects the inner parts of the anus to the skin around the anus. As long as this tract persists, there will be a recurring boil around the anus. A proctologist is the one credited with excellent outcomes of surgery of anal fistula. Laser and ligature anal fistula surgeries are the modern methods with very low recurrence rates.
Visit Wumtumi Hospital and Coloproctology Center today or call us. Wumtumi Hospital, First Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
You're welcome back to Sunday Breakfast with me, Enu Safo and Jude Mensa Duncan. We're about to delve into our health issues, and we're talking menstrual hygiene today. A few days ago, it was World Menstrual Hygiene Day, and so we thought it fit that we come and discuss menstrual hygiene on the show. And joining us to do that is our very own Dr. Kalsum Zakaria Adam. She's a maxillofacial surgeon, specialist maxillofacial surgeon, and a public health practitioner. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you, Enu.
How are you doing?
Very well, and you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great.
Jude, how do you feel about our discussion?
Very happy and optimistic.
Okay,
you know,
I like optimistic.
Yeah. Hopefully I learned something new.
Oh, you definitely will.
It's something I have zero
knowledge about.
All right. Why do you think that is?
I feel like it is also because of how we're nurtured, right? You know, it's probably like a nature and nature thing, right? So, of course, we don't flow. So, the quest for knowledge in that area is... But I think that some schools are changing, you know.
That narrative, and including the boys,
So, in reproductive health, they take time to explain. Also because some of the boys have younger sisters, you know,
mothers,
and of course,
aunties.
you know, they'll grow up and marry and all of that. So, I'm really looking forward to learn it. So if I'm quiet for too long, don't.
Definitely.
You're learning.
I'm learning.
You may help us with the demonstration.
You don't want to put me on the spot, but that's cool.
The show is live and interactive. You can send in your WhatsApp messages to the number 0204 447 033. 0204 447. Wait, am I mentioning the number right? I feel I'm mentioning it wrong. Let me see. 0204, yes, I'm correct. 0204 447 033. I keep mixing it up with the AgriFair number. Forgive me. 0204 447 033. That's the WhatsApp number for any questions or anything you might have to add to this discussion that we're about to have. Doc, let's start with what is menstruation?
All right. So it's a very important topic because it's physiologic. It's a normal thing. It's a natural process that all of us need to know about, so that at any point in time, if we need to step in to help a girl or a lady, we would be able to do that without having any, without having to stigmatize or make the lady feel uncomfortable about a natural process that usually happens. So menstruation is basically a periodic flow of blood, from the uterus through the vagina. And it usually happens within the month, a particular day within the month where your period starts. So we often would say that, a girl child is growing, or a lady is growing, so at some point in her life, she starts her menstruation, or the period, the flow of blood starts. And usually we call that time that first menstrual flow that happens within a child, or within a lady who is in her puberty. And puberty is basically you maturing sexually, So sexual maturity, or moving from a child to an adult in the sexual way, So at that time, the first flow of blood, we usually will call it menarche, And when it happens, for the first year, first 2 years, it's usually not stable. So maybe the girl is going to have her period the first month that it happens, and then subsequent months, it may not happen. And then till it stabilizes. It's like you're trying to stabilize the whole process. So for the first 2 months, it happens that way. It's not stable. You may have it this month, and then subsequent month you may not have it, or you may not have it. It's trying to stabilize itself before It then continues throughout your reproductive years till menopause. So menopause is when you don't have the flow happening again.
Right.
Okay. So usually the flow is, the average number of days for the flow is between 3 days to 7 days. Some people come and say, oh, I mean, my menstrual flow has only been 3 days. Is there a problem? Okay. So the average is 3 to about 7 days. Okay, that's the range rather. And then the average 5 days. Okay, that's when you have your flow. And this period is to help you to show that you're a woman, and then fertilization hasn't occurred. Okay, so you tend to have this menstrual flow every month. And it's a cycle. So the menstrual cycle is, you always would measure it from the first time you see blood till the next time that the cycle begins, or the next time that you get your period. So that is it. And also the range for the days is 21 to 35 days, but averagely 28 days is what usually women tend to have that cycle. And it's important that we speak about it because there are a lot of misconceptions about menstruation and how do I keep myself, and it tends to even take people away from work. It tends to take people away from schools and all of that. And that's because of the poor sanitary conditions that we have in these areas. So when we are talking menstrual health, menstrual hygiene, we'd want to also emphasize on the dignified toilet facilities so that people will be comfortable to go to these dignified toilet facilities to change, and they wouldn't have to absent themselves from going to either work or going to school.
Right.
So I would begin by talking about some of the menstrual products that we have that we can utilize once we are having our period. So a very old sanitary pad is one of them. Then you can also use a tampon. So a tampon is in here, so I'll demonstrate how to use that as well. We also have the menstrual cups.
Yeah.
They are rubber-like cups that you can actually insert to collect the blood. So the difference between the menstrual cup and the menstrual pad and then the cloth that we have is the fact that the menstrual cup is made of either latex or silicone. It's rubber-based. So it doesn't absorb, but it just collects. So anytime it is full, you need to be able to bring it out and then empty it, keep it in a hygienic condition before you reuse or get another one to use. Okay. So when a lady has her period, what does she do? If we are to demonstrate how to properly use the sanitary towel. Okay, so this is the sanitary towel that I'm going to demonstrate. So you need to have your panties, clean panties that some people, it depends on, I mean, what you believe in. Some people feel that they have designated panties or underwears that they use just for their periods. That's a good thing. So they keep them separately from their regular panties that they use, yeah. Okay? So either you do that or your regular panty, dark colored panties that you would want to use. So you have clean panty, this is it. And then you have your pad, which is this. Now, before you lay the pad onto the panty, you need to perform hand hygiene. Very, very important. So you need to wash your hands with soap and the running water so that you don't transfer any contaminants, if you should have any contaminants, onto the panty, which would end up being transferred onto the pad itself, because you know that the pad is going to be in contact with the skin and the vagina to collect the blood. So if you don't do it under hygienic conditions, the tendency is that you may end up causing an infection or transmitting an infection to yourself. So after performing your hand hygiene, you then take your panty. There are two sides to the panty. You have the outer surface, which is going to be in contact with your clothing, and then the inner surface, which is here, which is going to be in contact with your skin, and then the vagina. And it has a front part and a back part. So you need to orient it appropriately this way. Then you go for your sanitary towel. Now the sanitary towel, it comes in a pack, so you need to unwrap the pack. Okay, so I'm unwrapping it this way, and make sure that as you are doing this, you don't touch the inner surface, which I have just exposed. Because if you do touch the inner surface, tendency is that you may end up transferring some microorganisms that your eyes cannot see, and that can end up being a focus of infection as well. So you unwrap as much as possible without touching the inside. After unwrapping, you can hold it at the edge without touching the inside. So once you do this, there are two main parts to this part that we are holding. You can see the part that I'm holding with my right hand is shorter than the longer part, which is opposite it. So the shorter part is usually the front part, and then the longer part goes to the back. Okay? Once you do this, you then turn it to the region where you are going to lay it onto the panty, and then remove the wrapper as well. The sticky part would help you. Then you orient it onto the panty, not touching the inner surface. Once this is done, we have two wings, okay? So you need to unwrap that as well. And then you don't touch the inside. You unfold it nicely. And then you lay it onto the outer surface of the panty. Lay the left one as well. And then you can turn your panty inside out this way. And then it is now ready to be used and worn. Please make sure that as you are doing this, you don't touch the inside, which you may end up transferring some infection that may end up giving you other problems after your period. Okay, so you wear it this way, and then you go on with your activities. And then if you feel that it is wet, it feels that it is wet, usually we say 2 to 6 hours. You can change your pad. If you feel that it is wet and you need to change it, then you come, and then we start the whole process of removing the pad as well. So I'll just go through that as well. So how do we...
This an organic pad. It's not a reusable pad.
No, there's not reusable pad. The reusable ones are usually the cloth, the ones that are made from cloth.
Okay.
That you can reuse. But that also comes with its own
approach.
Yes, and you need to be able to hygienically keep it and hygienically, wash it, and make sure that all the blood that it has collected is out of it.
Is that advisable?
And kept. Well, I would say that it depends. You know, now pads are very expensive. So it depends. If the best we would recommend would be the disposable ones. But then if you can't afford, and the only thing, some people don't even use the reusable pads. Now you can sew these reusable pads. But if you can't afford the pads, and what you have with you, or what you are exposed to is the reusable one, why not? But you need, a lot of education has to go before you start using it. Very, very important. Some people even just use cloth, clean cloth. And how you use the clean cloth is that you should, I mean, in the past, that's what we're all using. Well, I didn't use it, though, but in the past, that's what was being used, you know. And how to keep that is, and I think there are people who still prefer to use the cloth to the disposable ones. Okay, but we would always recommend that if you do have the means, to use the disposable ones, because it helps you to hygienically dispose it off so that you don't reinfect yourself and then all of that. So I'll go on to how to remove it. So if it's heavy, You remove it. Before you remove it, you first need to perform your hand hygiene again. After performing your hand hygiene, then you take off the panty. Okay, take off your panty. After taking off the panty, you handle it again by the edge. So remember, all these parts would have been soaked with blood, and blood would have been now the contaminants. Okay, if you do touch that, it's likely that you can end up spreading infection to possibly even just your doorknob, and somebody else would come touch it. So we don't want you to touch the contaminant, which is now the blood. And so once you take it out, this is it. You first go for the wings from the back, okay? Same way. And then we are not going to touch the inside. By the edge, I'm going to turn it outside in, and I'm going to roll it as I go. So I'm rolling and making sure that I am concealing the contaminant.
Is it possible to roll and not touch it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Very possible.
Wow.
Yes. So you do this. At the end of it, the blood is within the part this way. And you need to use the wrapper, the old wrapper, to double wrap it this way. And then you go for your disposable polythene bag, and then you tie it nicely. Then this goes to the bin. After it goes to the bin, you perform your hand hygiene. Then you can change again. And the panty, if it is stained or if it's at the end of the day, you wash it under running water with soap and then sun dry it. Very important, sun dry it. Make sure that the sun hits on it and then it dries it up, and then you can go back for your panty and then reuse again. So this is basically how to use the sanitary
what if you're in a
towel.
space where you can't sun dry your panty? Can you iron?
Yes, you can, but if it's that wet, you still would want to...
I mean, like after it's dried.
Okay, yes, yes, you
the-
can iron it. Yes, you can iron it. If you don't have sun, yes, you can iron it, and that should
If you
do
wear
the
the pad and you don't flow, can you use an organic pad?
No, you know, the vagina has a self-cleansing ability, and because of that, you have some natural discharge that comes out. Anyways, so even though you may just look at it and feel that, oh, it looks clean, so can I just wear it again? Maybe I don't even have money for the next day. Can I wear it again throughout the night? I didn't see any stain. Can I just wear it? No, you can't. Because those are the ways by which you end up causing infection or transmitting infection to yourself. Because one, you have slept with this pad that you used over, let's say, average 7 hours. And there was no air, you sweat. All of these tend to cause some moist environments, and already your skin, it's in contact with your skin. Your skin harbors some microorganisms. So these microorganisms can be on these parts that you can't see with your eyes. And then if you reuse them over a prolonged period, they can multiply and then end up giving you an infection. So no, you can't reuse a pad that is not obviously stained. You need to change it. Once you wake up, you need to change it. All right. So that's it about the pad. And then we have the tampon here as well. I know a lot of people are not too familiar with the tampon, but we would go ahead and then show it. So this is the tampon. Okay. So the absorbable unit is within this applicator. So there's a plastic applicator, and then there's a string to help you know exactly the position of the tampon. So this is what would hang out. Okay, so this one goes within the vagina. So what you do is that the first thing, again, you would wash your hands. After that, you dry it, and then you open it. So once you open it up, this is the absorbent tampon, which is within the applicator. So you need to orient it at the vaginal orifice, okay? Once you orient it at the vaginal orifice, then you press on, okay? As you are pressing on, the absorbent tampon comes out of it, and then it stays within the vagina. You press until the full length of the tampon is within the vagina, and then this hangs out. So this would stay within the vaginal cavity and absorb all the blood that comes out of the uterus. And once it is wet, you just pull on the string and it comes out and you dispose it off.
Are they in sizes?
Yes, it comes in different sizes.
So depending on how heavy or not your flow is?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
They come in sizes. So this is the tampon and how to use it. Then we have the rubber menstrual cup, but I didn't bring one of that. The menstrual cup is latex, sometimes it's silicone. It's a rubber that you can easily collapse, okay? So it comes in different sizes as well. I think we have it in the picture in the background. What you do with that is that all you need to do is to collapse it and push it in. Once you collapse it and push it in, once it gets into the vaginal cavity, it unfolds, and then it can collect the blood that is flowing down. Once you feel heavy, you need to get, dignified toilet facility, and then you take it out. The only disadvantage of the menstrual cup is that it can be messy when you are bringing it out. Because yes, it can be a little messy when you are bringing it out, because it's like a cup that is filled with blood that you need to bring out, and then pour it out, clean, and then you can reuse. So that's basically how you can use that. And then we have the cloth. So for the cloth, we don't recommend it, but if that is the only thing that you do have, yes, you can go ahead and use it, but you need to use it with caution. The sense that once blood comes out, it becomes a good culture medium for bacteria, for microorganisms to start growing. So it needs to be washed properly to make sure that all the stains of blood is off it. So once you use it, the same way you wash your hands, you apply it, and make sure that those cloths that you use as your menstrual cloth for the month, you keep them in a particular bag, not mixed with all your other underwears. You keep them separately. So once your period is due and you are in your period, you bring them out, make sure that they were all sun-dried nicely. You apply it, you go on with your daily activities. Then when it's heavy, when it's soaked, you come back. What you do is that make sure you have another one that you are going to use. And then you take it out. You wash off the blood and the running water. Okay, make sure that all the blood is out of it visibly. Then you soak it with some warm water. You soak it with some warm water and allow it to be there for possibly about 3 hours, 4 hours, just to have that, the remnant of blood that is within it to be fully out. Then you wash it again and then sun dry.
Right.
Sun dry, and then subsequently you can iron, and then you keep it. Then you get the next one to use. But it's very, very delicate, such that most people do not recommend it. But if that is the only thing that you do have at that moment, yes, you can use it. But the caution is that you should use it under hygienic conditions.
I see a menstrual sponge.
Yes.
What's in the...
A menstrual sponge is not too different from a tampon.
And I like the way you say honorable mention.
I know, yeah, on top, honorable mention.
Yes. So it's not too different from a tampon.
Okay.
You just insert the same way, and then it absorbs, and then it comes out. So
but does it have anything, or you have to go back up there with your finger and pull it out?
So
it doesn't have a string, does it?
Yes. Some of them do. There are different types. Okay. But we recommend the ones with the strings, so that you can easily go and then locate it and then take it out.
Right.
Okay. And then what are some of the poor health conditions, or what are some of the poor practices that can lead to unhygienic menstrual period? Okay, so one of them is you using a visibly stained pad. Okay, that's one way. The other is not maintaining or not going through good hand hygiene before you wear your pad, because you may end up picking some microorganisms and then transferring onto this pad that you are going to keep there for about 2 to about 6 hours. The other thing is that during your menstrual cycle, you need to be able to take your bath at least twice. And you know, there are some taboos that people say that, okay, when I'm in my menstrual cycle, I'm not supposed to be bathing. Because if I bath, I'm going to be infertile. Yes.
Really?
Yes, they are there.
Wow. Not bathing.
Not bathing. Wow. So not bathing means that this thick blood is going to be there. And as I mentioned, it's a good culture medium for bacterial growth. And that can happen. That can end up giving you an infection. The other thing is that people may end up cleaning. When you're cleaning down there, people end up cleaning from back forwards. No, you're supposed to clean from the front backwards. The reason is that if you do clean from back upwards, you're transferring the bacteria from the anal region to the vagina. And it's very important that you don't clean in that way. You have to clean from front backwards. And then disposing these used parts in a hygienic way. Some people don't even wrap it, as I have shown. They tend to just drop it in the bin, and you have house flies there, and then eventually the whole infection cycle continues. So these are some of the things that people end up doing that tend to make their menstrual period a bit turbulent, and eventually they may end up with an infection that they shouldn't have.
I would really love that you're able to continue this next week, because I have a very important question about free period. And some people when during a period, they tell us all sorts of cravings. Sometimes you can't tell whether it is the
period or something.
Yeah, it is something else.
It does happen because of the hormones that do
so
play.
So we've seen how to use or the processes involved in using these sanitary towels and the conditions. So I saw that in every point you made, you emphasized the need to wash your hands very importantly.
Exactly.
So that's good. Hopefully next week, if you permit us, we can look at the more like the
menstruation as a whole.
Yeah,
okay.
What you can do, what you cannot do for those who are like heavy flowers, for those who have other, some of them are literally hospitalized.
Yeah.
I remember a classmate back in high school, So we'll look at all of that hopefully.
Sure, definitely.
We are so grateful for your insights, and the education you gave us. Thank you so much, Dr. Kalsum Zakaria Adam, a public health advocate and also a maxillofacial surgeon, taking us through a conversation on the importance of menstrual hygiene. I've learned a lot on the show today. I'm looking forward to next week. Yeah. But that's what time will allow us for, rather unfortunately. But we'll move straight to discuss a really important conversation that's become quite topical in the past week. We'll be looking at the state of our Ramsa sites here in Ghana, and a massive demolition exercise took place across some of these Ramsa sites. We'll be bringing you updates, but I'll start from Klagon, where, like I said, a really, really intense demolition exercise took place on one of Ghana's 6 Ramsa sites. Let's take a look at this video.
President John Dramani Mahama directed somewhere in March or April that the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, takes up the initiative to collaborate with the National Security and other allied agencies to effect some demolitions on Ramsa sites. And that exercise was carried out barely a week. We are currently at the Sakumon Ramsa site, where we still see buildings or blocks standing right on the very site that the president directed for demolition to take place. The aftermath of the Sunday downpour is what piqued our interest to come here and see the level of devastation that obviously would have happened when it rains. And the blocks you see right behind me are sitting in water. They are waiting patiently for the dry season to continue with their intention to erect mansions on the waterway. These occurrences have been going on for quite some time now. The previous administration, led by the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Quartey, took up the initiative to also demolish some properties on Ramsa sites. That ended nowhere. Today is another government. We are waiting to see if indeed they would actually walk the talk or just one of those mere promises without action. Here at the Ramsa site, we see a number of building or lands captured by people who obviously have the financial muscle to first fill the land, raise it to a certain level before they commence their constructions.
These places that we used to set our net, but as they are building inside the river, we can't even go some of the place and set our net. Having a problem.
The president has directed that the minister should take up the initiative and demolish these buildings. What's your take on that?
Oh, but it's a government that will give power. So no be me, my power, that I will even talk say they should come. But the thing, if you yourself is here, it's very bad. It's very bad. If the government allowed to demolish, there is nothing bad in me, my side.
As whether the government really means it worse when it says it's going to take action against this growing indiscipline of building on Ramsa site is yet to be seen and felt. So when next the water loses its course and finds its way into your homes, know that there are very few people who do not really want the progress of the nation at large. For Channel 1 News, I am Fred Duo reporting from the Sakmon Ramsa site.
It are designated wetlands under the Ramsa Convention. These sites also serve as habitat for natural species including fish and white-colored birds. Many of these sites have been lost to human activities, especially their encroachment by private individuals, causing severe ecological repercussions, a reason for the demolition exercise led by the Greater Accra Regional Minister. Today, the task force made a stop here in Klagom, within the Tema municipality. The National Disaster Management Organization has been explaining why this exercise is important, especially within this enclave.
If you look at this site, all water coming from the motorway, those coming from Ashama, Zenu area, China Mall, they all come here to settle before they move to the sea itself. So if you look at the enclave, this forms our reservoir, the basin. So the water coming needs to settle down first before it can gradually enter the sea. So if you observe since when we came, most of the fence where we've brought it down still have water within them. So we need to reserve the place because the rate at which people are failing to put up structures, we are afraid moving forward, if we are to maintain these structures, the whole of Accra will submerge.
Many of the structures demolished, there were fence walls around the land. Municipal Chief Executive for Tema West, Ludwig Totime, indicated plans by the Assembly to promptly restore and reclaim the land for its original purpose.
We've put in place a task force that will be monitoring and seeing that these structures don't come up again. We would like for you, once in a while, join our monitoring team so that you can update the public on how far we've gone. Now we would have to reclaim the land, restore the land to its original use. For one, you don't get to see the owners. Even when people come and they are being emotional about the breakages, you ask them, do you know the owner? They tell you no, they don't know. That's the mystery to it. We don't know who owns it, we don't know who sold it to them, but you will get calls and then they will tell you their properties have been broken. When you tell them to come and even let's have a discussion, they won't come.
Despite the significance of this exercise to curb the country's perennial flooding menace, some residents here disagree with its modality.
We can even get ways and means of solving this problem, but not demolishing properties.
How could they have done this, knowing very well that these buildings have been erected on waterways, and knowing the devastation of the recent floods, for instance?
Already are there. You see the main gutter, all the gutters are choked. So first of all, if it were me, I will first and foremost excavate the trenches and the main ones. When the water is coming, to just pass away.
Recent perennial flooding, especially in the Greater Accra region, authorities say this exercise is non-negotiable. Reporting for Channel 1 News, Fauzu Masaudu, Klagon.
And welcome back. Very important conversation. 6 Ramsa sites. I'm not sure if you can still go on to describe it as such. We are grateful to have in studio join us a colleague in the Channel 1 newsroom who's also been deeply involved in these conversations before, during, and hopefully we'll go after, right?
Definitely.
Amazing. I think what struck out for me was your interview with a lady who claims to be a pastor and had built a run of these, Ramsa sites.
My pigeon tree.
I think after I saw on Facebook that you needed a tree,
keeps
a tree tutor.
laughing at the way I was speaking the local language with the lady. I mean, it's not my L1,
You had gone there before the demolition exercise. I can't recall, you even did another report some time ago where you even showed us fish and other aquatic, life.
That has to do with the Kweshi Lagoon,
area, which is also part of these conversations we're having. Create the picture for us. How did it look like before the demolition exercise?
Good morning to our cherished viewers. But the fact still remains that before this demolition exercise, our technical director, I think JB, he sent me an aerial shot of the Ramsa site during the demolition exercise. And you could tell that the greenery was so visible, the place was so preserved, such that the aquatic life, the birds and everything, they were in their habitat and having that free life. And the entire stretch that is so green, so huge. Now, when we got to the site again, I spoke to some property owners. They also told me that all the structures we see sprang up within a year. Because you remember the former regional, because the former regional minister, Henry Quartey, was on the same site to undertake such demolition exercise. Then when he got there, it had gotten to a particular location which they had asked them not to go beyond. And so that red line that was drawn, a year after, is being occupied entirely with these structures. And so they told us that, see, the menace still continues because year in, year out, or government after government, when they come, the people go to see them, and then they have this term they use, give us that human face. Just pardon us, okay, we've already gotten here, we've invested so much already, so why not allow us stay, and then you can probably ask the others not to go beyond this point. And so that conversation went on to the point where almost 1,400 hectares, that is supposed to be the entire Sakumo or Ramsa site, that has been encroached to the point where people are now building right in water.
Can you imagine?
And you see, these developments take place during the dry season. Right. They wait patiently, no one is looking, and then they proceed to do their work gradually. And when the flood comes, and they are exposed. Now, there was this lady we also engaged, and she was like, for her, she has, I think, 3-story building with boys' quarters and I think hostels on the side. The lady that went viral crying. And when I told her that, madam, you knew very well that this is a water or a wetland, and you went ahead to pay, allegedly, she said she paid bribe to the site manager. You knew very well that it's a wetland. You proceeded to do this. She said, no. The water does not really start from here.
No, and you see, from where?
That's the thing. They are like, other places get flooded, and water over time, when people begin to settle at certain location, water does not make its way to those places.
It was the ignorance,
the ignorance of it. You see, that, enhances the impunity we've all seen, and these developments have gone up over the period. you can also not have these debates or arguments without the complicity of the officials on site.
The Forestry Commission.
They are all complicit in this.
Even
because the
traditional
allegations
authorities.
and the finger pointing all goes to these officials.
Yeah.
That over the period when they come there and they want to build and even purchase the land, the officials come and they are paying them 5,000 cedis, 20,000. I mean, they mention varied amounts.
Making money.
To the point where the Forestry Commission manager, one Mr. Aqua, was alleged to have taken even dollars. So it is a whole cartel.
My point is that, so you have a report, you have that report that captures it, right?
Exactly.
We'll queue for it pretty shortly. But my point is that, you see, for some of these officials, right, they can say that, oh, okay, we didn't even take the money, no problem, which, but clearly, I watch your
there's no receipts, right?
You said it should
yeah,
provide them.
but my point
receipts,
is that,
right?
Yeah.
do they not have like a monitoring team responsible for periodic visits to the Westland to ascertain the level of, you know, building activities happening there?
So this is what I actually gleaned from this whole conversation. When you get there, it is quite obvious that because the authorities know the impunity that is going on and the developments on the wetland, they've really stationed this Mr. Aqua there from the Forestry Commission because Ramsa site ordinarily falls under their purview. So he is supposed to be there to ensure that no one come to first purchase the land, let alone bring in building materials to do so. So he is stationed there. You may not have like a task force that is there 24 hours saying they are monitoring. When someone is coming with a trip of sand or gravels or anything, they want to say, don't dump it here. We do not have that task force. But one man, what can he do? And so when he was compromised, probably allegedly
compromised,
put it on record that it is alleged that he was compromised. These developments happened within a year.
And why is it being Forestry Commission, right, and not EPA, for example? Because Forestry Commission,
they are all involved.
You know, their mandate is quite specific, right? It's forests, right? But these are wetlands, you know.
You know,
and to be fair, anyway, we need to watch
forests really,
because it has an ecological system, the Ramsa site, I mean, and so I think Forestry Commission.
It is because of the preservation of or the conservation of birds.
If I look at the mandate of the
mandate
of the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, which Professor Brown-Kluche now heads, I think that their mandate, you know, should be more specific towards some of these things. Forestry Commission,
they are part.
They are part of it.
The EPA is part.
Wow.
The EPA is
were they there
part
during
of,
the demolition?
let's say, the committee, or if there is any structure like that within the governance system in terms of protecting these wetlands, the EPA is deeply involved. So they have even environmental officers at the various municipalities and the assemblies to ensure that when, let's say, the Forestry Commission is there to supervise, the environmental officers are also to play a role
like
in all this.
Biodiversity, you know, beyond the concrete and sand and cement and iron rods. Did you see any semblance of some biodiversity in the area? So, for example, birds, you know.
The birds are struggling to perch. So you see the birds were driving, the very last demolition that was done that I took part in, that was on Wednesday, if my memory serves me right. When we're going, you could see that birds that are supposed to be within the wetland are now in the communities. So like they fly all the way and they are perching on these buildings because the structures have taken over the trees that ordinarily would have been their perching ground. So this is happening such that the birds are suffering, and we saw fishes that have died in some of the
let's take a look at your report that you did from the Sakuma Ramsa site, and we'll be back shortly to continue the discussion.
Began at 11:30 a.m. on Tuesday morning. The Greater Accra Regional Minister described the first day of demolition at the Sakuma Ramsa site as successful, although there were some delays caused by the use of larger machinery. The operation covered a substantial area. Minister Oklu indicated that the exercise is expected to last about 2 weeks. After the demolition, a task force will be deployed to various locations to prevent any redevelopment of illegal structures.
Recently, the flooding, I don't know whether you heard, a lot of lives were lost. And yes, 4 of them. So it should be something that we should take it. We should own this exercise. As far as lives are being involved, properties, as I'm speaking, there are a lot of people who are even out. We've given them some place to stay in the interim. So we have to actively get involved and make sure that the right thing is doing that. The fact that we have places that we don't experience flooding doesn't mean that we shouldn't be concerned.
The demolition was not without confrontation. Some property owners alleged that they had bribed the Ramsa site manager, who is under the Forestry Commission.
Or do you 20,000, or do me 5,000, or do me 10,000, or do me 20,000, or see members, yeah, they man, Nina, what's up for baby, what's up about the Aqua, or a forestry man.
The manager, Thomas Aqua, denied these allegations, stating that his advice to halt construction was ignored when the buildings were still at the foundation stage.
Who am I to assure them to build? And on what grounds will I collect money from somebody when I know what you are doing is wrong? So you've not taken a... No, I haven't taken any money from anybody. I haven't taken any dime from anybody. You say you embolden them to build here. I cannot embolden anybody to build here when I know it is wrong. And I have warned you severally, don't go there. And you are going there. How will I embolden you?
Minister Oklu said she will launch an official investigation into the bribery claims.
We had series of allegations against him personally. Are you getting me? And so we have to investigate this matter and get to the root of this. And so that one I can assure you, because why have we gotten here? That is the question. Sometimes I don't blame them. My dear, people who are concerned to allow this to happen, they are the people we have to blame.
Additionally, the mayor of the Tema Metropolis and the municipal chief executive for Tema West, whose jurisdiction covers the operation, shared their views on the importance of protecting the Sakmono Ramsa site.
This goes to all government officials or people in position to permit these people. And when I say permit, I don't necessarily talk about something that is actually legal. But whatever authority allows you to come onto sites like this, and with the addition of land guards, to enforce a will against the nation, I think that it's time that they understand that it's not going to happen. Now, luckily for us, this is a directive from the top. And it will be a shame if a few months from now, the national and the regional authorities have to be involved in a local challenge like this.
So I've tasked my engineers to be coming here from time to time. We have a task force in place that would be here 2 or 3 times a week for the rest of the period that we are going to transform the whole place. So you can be rest assured these structures will not come up again.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister described today's exercise as largely successful after they've been able to pull down some high-rise buildings at the Sakmono Ramsa site. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Fred Duho.
Right, and Fred is here on set with us. You know, when I spoke to you, was it Tuesday that the demolition started? Yes. And all of us in the studio were here. I think they were struggling to bring down one of the structures, and you were describing to us what was happening. So there was one that, how many buildings in all, if you can tell, or how many equipment were used to
from the start, one can tell that they were not really prepared. They were totally disoriented about how to even approach it. No, that one was also part later in the day. But this bigger earth-moving machines, that is the excavators, they came in later.
Okay.
You see, they started with, the regional minister said they started with the drip machines, and one was rented. Now, the rented one was actually the one that was doing the main work before these bigger ones came in. Okay. The drip machine, they couldn't do much, but the rented one started work, then it was short of fuel, then they brought in this bigger one. So the start of the whole exercise was like they were quite not well prepared, but as time goes on, they gain authority over what they intended to do, and then they started to execute properly. So as we speak, we can say that the Sakumo Ramsa site, more than 80 to 90% of structures have been cleared on the site. And they've moved to Klagon as well, where my colleague Fauzu also brought those news from the Klagon site. The Klagon itself is not the Ramsa site. It's the extension of the Sakumo Ramsa site that has gone to that entire place. You know, the entire country, we have 6 Ramsa sites. That is under the Ramsa Convention. 6 of them in Ghana, 3 in the Greater Accra region, 1 in Central region, 1 in the Volta region, and 1 inland one, which is in the Ashanti region. So in all, we have 6 of them. Now, the Sakumo, for instance, has 1,400 hectares. That's the size of it. And to bring that in terms of, to bring it home for football lovers, that would be close to 2,000 standard football pitches.
That's huge.
That is huge.
But does that still exist? Is that still the case?
As we speak, it's been encroached to the point where you can barely see a strip of land that you can describe as a wetland.
So who's selling these lands?
I am told the chiefs are involved.
Yes.
Because when you speak to each of the property owners, they mention the chiefs. Before, when they progress with their work, that is where they encounter these state officials, like the Forestry Commission guys, and then they start paying the bribes, and then it develops to this level. Because you cannot really start this project within a day and finish. This could have taken you like months of progress to get to this level.
What is government's caution to the chiefs and traditional authorities who know very well that this site is meant for, it's a Ramsar site, it's a wetland? What are the cautions to the chiefs, and how do they intend to? I don't think they can refund the money, but
you see, this country, our problem is quite huge. You know, lands are entrusted in the hands of chiefs, because they are the custodian of most of the lands. Before, if government needs any of them, government moves into either sign an agreement or purchase it or forcefully acquire some of these lands for its own intention or probably its objectives. The chiefs, they have, over the period, held the notion that these are their properties, they are entitled to sell them, and so they move in to do so without recourse to the state or the agencies that are tasked to oversee this land, like the Land Commission and the likes. So the chiefs are deeply involved. When you are there on site, you see them send their agents, because the way they appear and the way they even sort to query what is happening tells you clearly that these are assigns or agents from some traditional rulers. Now, over time, the people get emboldened because, like I stated from the onset, if the entire property or the entire land size is 1,400 hectares, now you moved an inch to occupy a portion of it, then government is like, no, this is a wetland. Don't do what you are doing there. And you are like, oh, we are begging. We've already invested so much. So please have mercy on us. And government say, okay.
This is the red line.
This is the red line. Do not go beyond this. Those same people within that enclave now go to tell their families, their friends, this is where I've also gotten my land. Oh, government cannot demolish it. Government cannot do this. So this Greater Accra Regional Minister, she's so forceful to the point where if she had left the demolition site, I bet you the work would have stalled. Really? She always stays through. Yes, she always stays from morning till evening until the whole team leaves the site. She's like, when she notices that the people are playing some sort of tricks, they don't want to touch this building, they say, until you put that building down, I am not leaving. And her voice on the ground is the final. So, and that is how come you are able to see this level of demolition happening.
Are there buildings there where persons have like completed and are living in there? Like, are there fully finished buildings on the site?
None of those has been pulled down yet. But those that have been completed to this level, like the one you see behind me, those ones, a number of them were pulled down. Then a significant number of them is the fence walls. That people used to capture the
I'm talking
land
about
and
buildings
then,
that are like
people are
fully
dwelling in. No, that I have not seen.
They didn't put any down.
None.
But there were some on the site.
None. There were some. No. The only one that I can confidently say was on site is the church.
It's the church.
The woman I spoke with, she is living there while doing the church on the site. And she has a number of patients in there who are seeking spiritual healing. So she was given a week ultimatum to make sure she vacates the place with the sick people so the machine can move in to demolish it. What they did to send her a signal is that they pulled down the frontage, which is the porch or the front view. They put that down and then they left the structure itself where the people are currently in, so that if she fails to leave within the 1 week that she's given, they will go in with that level of force to pull it down.
So
That's
there's
the
some
main
empathy to the whole thing.
But there are other buildings on the side that are so huge. While we were there, we saw a customs lady who came and she was pleading that they shouldn't touch her.
That's law enforcement.
Yes. They are living for her, so they've not gotten to the places that are well developed, buildings that are completed, people are dwelling in. They've not gotten there yet before I left the exercise.
But
so
you'll
get
law
there.
enforcement official. They are breaking the law.
Fred, I think you spoke to someone who said that the house he lives in, although uncompleted, was for a military man.
Yes. And see, the people who own properties there, it's not you and I.
No, but see, those structures are very nice, modern structures.
If you see the foundation alone, that should tell you, I mean, we may not have the expertise in building, construction, and engineering, but if you see the level of work done on the foundation before they erect the structure, my goodness, that amount of money that would go into the wetland to fortify the foundation alone, you and I cannot really afford that. So these are powerful people who have the resources to do what they are doing. And they know over time, government will have mercy on them and then they can continue. Now, I am also fully aware that the more you get closer to the water, the land is expensive because in the future, you will be using the water as a waterfront property and be having that sort of leisure over there.
It's funny and at the same time very unfortunate that this is happening, knowing very well that it's a Ramsa site. And I don't know. But I think the regional minister cautioned or asked the traditional authorities to find a way to resettle these people. But where's the land to do that?
Well, they have the land.
I mean, Sakumo is aside that area, is there land?
We are thinking that when you talk of Accra, you're talking about Cantonment, East Legon, Sakumo, and those places, and that is Accra. No, Accra extends as far as Ningo Pram Pram.
But everybody wants to live within.
But the rich people, the real rich people who have money, they are going to Ada.
They like the outskirts.
Yes. They from
see, traffic situation.
You see, the traffic situation, so you put pressure on government to now construct the road so that they expand it, that you can easily travel from here to Ada. Like 1 hour.
Right.
Because somebody from Kaswa will be in traffic to get to Accra within 1 hour. So from here driving to Ada, it should take you like 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. You are in Accra. If the road is good, every construction is on point, everybody should be able to leave outskirts of town, come here, do your ordinary businesses or work, and go back. But the mentality where if I am not in the heart of Accra, then I am not in Accra, I get really surprised about that. We've found a number of reports that point to even places within the greater Accra region. When you are told those places are Accra, you get amazed sometimes because they are so outskirted, deprived of certain amenities and everything. And you are like, these places are also within Accra. So there is land if you really need land.
There's
what
land
is
also
happening that I see, I think our development agenda is not really well engineered. Government should be able to go ahead of the population and the urbanization of certain places. Go there quickly, demarcate, collaborate with the chiefs. Collaborate and demarcate the lands. Make sure you do the necessary engineering, the gutters, everything before they even start selling the property. Before the population moves or gravitates towards those areas. But we allow and sit back when the population begin to grow towards certain areas. They begin to mess up the environment before government to start shouting. So it is both humanly, what would I put? The government and we, the Ghanaian, the citizens, are all involved in the crisis.
Beyond this, does government have a plan to erect a big billboard? Do not buy land here. There's a Ramsa site.
That was one of the suggestions that came on board. But one thing that they said that I was quite happy about is that they want to restore the entire Ramsa site to its natural ecology, where they want to plant more trees and then enhance, restore the place. That is what the MC for Tema West, Ludwig, said. And I'm quite happy with that, because if that particular land is well demarcated, trees are planted like a borderline. So you cannot go beyond these trees, a buffer zone, and make it properly more of a forest area. Really
there's a suggestion here from one of our viewers. Good morning. You didn't add your name, so they should be advised to use the land for fishing rather than building. So there can be a signage telling the public this site can be used for fish pond. Thanks.
Interesting. See, I like, and thank you so much for the in-depth coverage on this particular. I like the fact that you went there before, and also you are still following this very keenly. And I like the way you also talk about the minister's role in all of this. You said that if she doesn't, she's there
from morning to evening.
And I just wanted to say that, probably look into the camera and even say to the Greater Accra Regional Minister, right, Linda Oklu, we see your hard work, we see what you are doing to bring sanity into the system. We are grateful for all that you are doing. And we want to use this platform to commend you for the really, forceful approach. And we'll be supporting you all through the way. It's a difficult task. And whilst we are commending you, we are also calling on government. Samuel said something on the morning show the other time that usually when things happen in the country, if support doesn't come from the top, and I mean the presidency, it becomes, at the end of the day, very fruitless endeavor. So we'll support you. Keep at it.
Yeah, underestimate her performance. So, like when she was appointed and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
The level at which she's going. She says she's going to go to the Medina areas or the developed areas where people took up the initiative to build along the waterway. Those places, they should get ready for her.
Yeah.
Fred, you mentioned the 6 designated Ramsa sites, and I have them here. So Greater Accra, there's the Densu Delta Ramsa site, there's the Sakumo Ramsa site, there's the Songo Ramsa site.
You know where the Magdan salt mining is taking place.
So that's also that entire area. And then in the Volta region, there's the Keta Lagoon. In the Kumasi, there's Owabe.
That place also, the situation has to do with people cutting down the mangroves all the time.
Oh, wow.
And that is the challenge. And so when that way, the tides rise and the lagoon is supposed to serve as a protective so that the water does not really go into homes and things like that. But people also, over the period, it's been happening for decades. People cut the mangroves and use it as firewood. And these issues need to really
Kumasi, there's the Owabe Central region. Yes, that's the only inland one. Muni Pomaze Ramsa site. Interesting.
So it's not enough just demolition
at all.
We need to enforce the laws.
Really enforce and station some people there
enforcing legal protections. Trying to restore the degraded wetlands, create buffer zones, like you said. You can plant some kind of so people don't go beyond. And I think that we'll be thankful for it. I was trying to read around the Ramsa Convention, 1971.
Long ago.
And it doesn't look like we've taken it seriously enough, And aquatic life is dying. Birds, migration birds that are supposed to use it as a, transit point of a sort are also... Anyway.
I think we need some volunteer groups to come in at this point. You see where we have the bus stop boys doing their own thing with sanitation. We need some volunteer groups to also say that.
I think we need a task force.
Lovers of nature.
The task force thing is like, it's become every time when there's an issue in Ghana, task force. But we need to.
If we have lovers of nature who can
like yourself,
themselves and
but if it doesn't have state backing, right? If it doesn't have state backing, there's so much the task force can do.
Things like this don't happen in the Ashanti region.
We put
Who are you to sell land?
No, let's see. Let's see.
Oh yeah, that's their issue. Yes, that's their issue.
Let's
is this our version of the galamsey?
Yes, that's a craft version of galamsey. So every region has their own. So yeah, this will not happen in the Ashanti region, but galamsey is happening, and Otumfuo is fighting that as well. But anyway, that is Fred. Thank you so much. We have food for babies in our nutrition segment part 2. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
Imagine a place where technology and compassion meet. A sanctuary of health, precision, and trust. At Olive Health Diagnostics and Imaging, we redefine excellence. From advanced ultrasound, X-ray, and CT scan services to accurate laboratory, cardiology, and dentistry, our mission is clear: to provide the care you deserve with accuracy, precision, and speed. Your trusted healthcare partner, Olive Health Diagnostics, always ready whenever you need us. Olive Health Diagnostics and Imaging, redefining excellence in medical diagnostics.
This June, the business wave is back and it's bigger than ever. The City Business Festival 2025 on City FM and Channel 1 TV, where it's all about business. This June, we will be celebrating Ghanaian businesses, re-examining our business modules and practices through our business fora, and sharing knowledge through our on-air business discussions. Make a business date with the on-air series every weekday at 9 a.m. on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 City FM and 10 a.m. on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. From expert interviews to real-world insights to the tools you need to grow. Don't miss a single moment this June. It's the City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business. Only on City FM and Channel 1 TV. Your business, your future, your time is now. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and let's grow together. The City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business. The City Business Festival 2025 is powered by 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN Business, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited.
Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel 1 TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agriculture exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery? This is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, and Development Bank Ghana.
You're welcome back to Sunday Breakfast with me, Inosafo, and Jude Mensa Duncan. Just gone by a heated debate on Ramsa sites, but we're putting that aside and shifting our focus to nutritious foods for infants and toddlers. And joining us to do that discussion is our very own Enna Deswa Nsiano Manyo. She's a registered dietitian, and she has Deswa Diet Consult and medical catering. And like I said, we're talking nutritious foods for infants and toddlers, part 2.
Amazing.
You can join the conversation using the hashtag Sunday Breakfast across all social media platforms, or by sending a WhatsApp message to the number 0204 447 033 0204 447 033, or my handle ino_s, or Jude's handle at Mensa Duncan. The Mensa does not have an H. Hi, Enna.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Our set is looking nice with something.
Baby food.
Baby food. Yeah. We're going to eat baby food.
Yes, I wish I brought a
I
baby.
can't believe we ate all of this before we got to solid foods.
Exactly.
Interesting.
I'm imagining a baby saying, because it's delicious.
Is it? At least for a baby, perhaps. Right. So what are we doing today? We're talking nutrition. I think last week we started with when baby is 6 months, they can start eating puree?
Puree.
Yes. And that it should be one thing at a time. So if it's a morikoko, you try that. If they like it, then you can add other certain things and all of that. Okay. So this week, what are we studying? What are we learning?
So I want to emphasize that when it comes to a baby at this stage, hygiene is very, very key. Okay. So even though I have no baby here, just handling it, I feel like I should just protect the baby because you can easily introduce infection to the child, and it's difficult fighting infection around that stage. We want to give the baby all the peace of mind to grow. And when a baby is sick, they go through so much pain, and it deprives them from a lot of nutrition as well. So we want their bowls, by this time their cups, their spoons should be in some hot water, boiling it before you use, okay? So once again, hooray, baby is 6 months. Baby is going to discover other foods apart from the milk it is used to. We did exclusive breastfeeding during the 6 months, and today our focus is on the first 6, from the 6th month to the 8th month. Still, we are doing single food introduction, okay? Last week, after I left here, most of the feedback I got made me realize the mistake, though I suspected already, but it confirmed the fact that most of the mistake we are making is on protein intake. We are giving too much protein to our baby because we are told that protein is good and is very important at this stage, which is true. But how much is required is the confusion, okay? So you are also looking for baby formula. This age, you would want to add baby formula to the milk, to your milk. Baby might need more breast milk than you might be able to produce. Especially as a working mother, you might have started work or resumed work by this time, so you would introduce baby formula. Looking for baby formula, please. Paying attention to protein. Read on the label. Make sure the protein content of your formula is 1.3. Okay. Mimicking the milk from the breast. The breast milk has a protein content of 1.3 per 100 ml, okay, of milk. So the baby formula shouldn't be high. High protein exposes baby to obesity. Apart from putting unnecessary stress on the kidneys, exposes baby to obesity, and obesity is a risk factor to a lot of chronic diseases. You don't want to build that foundation for your child.
Yeah.
Point of emphasis again, feeding your baby from birth to 2 years, even extending it to 5 years, is the critical stage of a human life. So when we get it wrong, we set the tone for life. When we get it right, you have equipped your child with the best property you can ever give, good health. Ensuring that the good health he came to life with is very preserved, is the best gifts you can give to your child. So protein, they say, some of the formulas have 1.5, others have 2. We all want our babies to be chubby. Okay, so we want to give more of that. If we say a baby formula is nutritious, please make sure we are getting the protein right. Good. So emphasizing also again, this is supposed to be complementary food. So baby's main food is still the breast milk, or the baby formula. So we are still using the milk. Okay, so milk will be about 6. If you are supposed to feed baby 8 times a day, normally we feed them between 8 to 12 times a day. If I say 8 to 12 times, if it's a baby who cannot finish this is 270 ml. So let's say 210 to 240. If baby cannot finish it at a go, then you would have to do 2 hours feeding. It means you are reducing it so that baby can do every 2 hours. Normally, we do between every 2 hours to every 3 hours. So let's say you have a baby who can sleep for 4 to 5 hours. Don't allow that baby to sleep. Wake the baby up and feed so that the baby can continue. So if we are doing every 2 hours, then it means we are feeding baby 12 times. You see, childhood malnutrition is very common. Okay, we can, we have the burden of the double malnutrition, whether the baby can be undernourished or overnourished.
So malnourished or overly.
When we say malnourished, it can be under or over malnutrition. Okay. So when a baby is getting less of the nutrient it needs to grow, then the baby is undernourished. Okay. So a baby who will sleep that long will not get adequate nutrients in the course of the day. Okay. And a baby that we also feed too much, especially using the kind of protein that is very high, or giving too much carbs, that baby too will be overnourished, will have the weight that you adore because you see them in pictures and co, but might not be good for the life of the child. Okay, so having adequate food with adequate nutrients is what we are looking for. So the milk, yes, going back to the milk. When baby is starting feeding at 4 a.m., we will give the milk. So let's say we are doing 3 hours. Then we will do 4 a.m., we will do 7, we will do 10, we will do 1, we will do 4, we will do 7 p.m., we will do 10 p.m., we will do 1 a.m., and then 4 again. Okay. I don't know if I counted it well, but it should be, if it is 3 hours, yes, I did because I ended here. If it is 3 hours, it should be 8 times.
Right.
Okay, but if it is 2 hours, then it will be 12 times. Okay. So a baby that can take a bottle and finish we are starting from 4 a.m. You give the bottle. Let's say you might have expressed it down, or you are using a formula, so you give a bottle, baby finishes it. At 6, you are coming to give porridge, okay? Then I have this is rice porridge.
Porridge.
So it's very thick, so that when you are adding your milk to it, and it is also supposed to be puree, okay? So from 6 months, baby is going to enjoy a thicker liquid.
So it looks so smooth too. Is it deliberate?
Yes, because
they can't chew.
We don't want baby to choke. So you introduce her to the smoothness.
It looks like the other one.
Rice?
So this is rice flour. Okay. But this, honestly, is rice porridge. Today I fed my children with rice porridge. I took some and blended. Wow. Okay, so if you don't have the flour at home, don't worry. If you have older children who are taking the normal one, you can take some and blend. Make sure your blender is very clean. Please clean it with vinegar and lemon.
Use the pepper blender. Can it be garden eggs and things?
Get a blender for
especially for the
our diamond. Yes, our priceless.
I like that.
Let's get that for her.
It looks like a quick baby.
Yes. Yeah. No, but this is rice.
Yeah,
okay.
But this, yeah.
Yes, so you can either add and this is chicken. This is blended chicken.
If I tell you what I thought it was, I was like, leave the oats for me after. You don't mean it.
This is blended chicken. So you boil it and then you blend it very well. We are introducing baby to chicken.
What do you add to it to make it this smooth?
You just make sure you have cooked it to be very tender.
So it's not even fried chicken?
No.
It's cooked?
It is, yes.
No oil, no spices, no nothing?
No.
Wow.
No spices, because baby, at this stage, we are trying to observe her reaction to food. So we don't want anything. But I added a little onion and I washed it with a little vinegar.
Okay.
So that it will take it will not make baby feel nausea. Okay. So this is chicken. This is beef, cow meat. And this, I bought a very lean one. Okay. So for you to take your time and make sure it is well blended to get this texture. And I have the fish. This one too, fish powder. The tuna, okay? Okay. So this is fish powder. Okay.
Yeah.
So how much is adequate?
The question.
Yes. So this is giving me about 5.3. This is a tablespoon. Looks like a dessert spoon, but let's take it as a tablespoon. So assuming I'm using a tablespoon of blended chicken will give me about 5.3 grams of protein. To know the need of your baby, average weight of a baby is 7.5 to 8, a baby of about 6 months. Okay. If I'm using the protein gram, which is the platform to grow, or to do the to plan, if a baby is about 6 months, and let's say baby is big, so baby is 8 kg, then we need 8 times 1.3. Okay, so please do that for me to see. 8 times 1.3. That is the protein need of the child.
1.3, right?
Yes. 8 times 1.3.
10.4.
10.4. Okay. So approximately baby is taking 10.4, 10.5. And this alone, this is chicken. This alone is giving me 5.3. Okay, and this 10.4 is supposed to be spread out the whole day's food.
Oh, wow.
Including what she's getting from the breast milk.
Ish.
Yes. So, and this baby is supposed to take, if she's being fed 8 times, the bottle should be 6 times. And this food should be twice.
Oh, so like a bottle like this should be, everything should be
emptied. At this stage, a baby of 6 months, if, let's say, if this is 210 ml, okay, she should be able to drink it at a time, as a meal, okay? So she will take this at 4 a.m. and then take this porridge with, let's say, I'm adding chicken. That means this chicken should not, I should give about a half tablespoon.
Okay.
So I shouldn't give all the tablespoon. But mostly because we want it to be very rich, we will give all the tablespoons so that we know we are giving a lot of protein. Let's say I am even giving egg. Okay. So this egg, you can give a boiled egg. Better still, you can give a fresh egg. When baby's porridge is almost cooked, then you break the whole egg and add it to the baby's porridge, the one she is going to eat.
You put the egg in the porridge?
Like the raw egg?
The raw egg.
Okay.
You just break it. The heat will cook it. Okay. But when you are doing that, you are giving baby too much protein at a time, because this egg is having about 7 to 8 grams of protein. So the protein you are given at a feed is too much. It is more than what the baby will need the day. Okay. So let's say if the baby is 8 kg, or baby even weighs 9 kg, and needs 10 plus, needs, let's say, about 11 kg of protein, and at a feed you have given 7 grams. It means within the day, baby needs about 3 grams of protein, which the breast milk and the formula alone will give more than. So you have overfed the baby with protein. Okay, so that is why sometimes we will say, okay, if it is the porridge, then take the yolk.
Okay.
Take the yolk and then give her parts of the yolk for the first meal. Okay. And give the other. The other that you are not given, please preserve it well. So give the other half the next time you are feeding.
Looks like a really, really high protein.
Yes. So if this is chicken, so I am not adding the egg
to it.
Yes. So if I had poured a new one and I'm doing only yolk and the rice porridge, it's okay. I can also do only the rice porridge and the baby formula or the breast milk.
Okay.
Okay. And that will also be okay.
Okay.
Especially if I'm doing rice, then I'll do rice for, let's say, 3 days. If baby's cane, if baby is not, if baby doesn't show any sign of allergy, then it means she likes it and she doesn't react negatively to it. This is carrots, blended carrots.
I actually thought it was pepper and
So sometimes there are lots of babies who love this. So when you are adding their carrots to either chicken or avocado, this is avocado.
Okay.
They love it. But the protein in there might be small. But for a first feed, the carrots and the milk will be okay. Okay. Because we are observing carrots. Carrot doesn't give a lot of allergies, but every baby and how they respond to food. So if you have tried the carrot for 3 days and baby is fine, then you can add avocado. If you have tried avocado with banana and baby is fine, then you do it as well. For 3 days, give baby 3 days to respond. So you can give this for 3 days and baby will like it, will enjoy it for you. This is avocado and banana, okay? That one also, babies like a lot because we have to introduce them to fruits. Sometimes we do only apple and their milk, they'll be okay. Most importantly, because I am paying attention to the protein, if we have to add chicken to, let's say I'm doing chicken and carrots. Because I'm doing chicken and carrot, there is no fats, you know, the food has to be balanced. Then I have to add a teaspoon of olive oil, either a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons, based on baby's weight, okay, to it so that it is well balanced for the baby. So the olive oil will be the fat, then you have either the chicken or the fish as the protein, and the sweet carrot as the carbs, and babies enjoy it a lot. This is not snack for a baby. This is a main meal for a baby.
What then will be snack for a baby?
So baby's food, even what is supposed to be snack, is supposed to be a meal, because we are giving them nutrient-dense food throughout the day. Don't forget, she's taking a lot of the milk. So the other food that she's taking should be dense, so that it will complement the breast milk. That is why it is complementary foods. Okay. So don't only give biscuits. You know, sometimes we give only biscuits, and we think it's snack time, and we are given juices. We think it is snack time. No, the food should be nutrient dense. Okay. So it should be a balanced meal, even when we are given.
Anna, there's a question here. Hi, good morning. Thanks for this wonderful education. My 14-month-old child doesn't like to eat anything apart from breast milk, and her weight is static. Is there any help?
So gradual introduction, okay. Sometimes we will say they wouldn't want to eat anything because they are eating just a spoon. This beautiful combination I have done here, if baby takes 2 tablespoons, he's gotten enough.
Really?
Yes, because they are small and have small stomach. All we need is between 2 tablespoons and 3 tablespoons. So their spoon is often small. So maybe this, 3 of this will go into a tablespoon, or maybe 4 of this will go into a tablespoon. You should be patient to feed between a period of 10 to 30 minutes. Do all the, create the environment for the baby to accept, okay? Don't give up, mom. Don't give up. The 14-month-old needs all the encouragement to eat. Don't give medicine to induce, okay? Just try and, with patience, introduce other variety, and baby will accept.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's another one here. It says, should the breastfeeding be done before or after the baby formula? Okay. I'm Nana from Pokwasi.
Okay. So for a baby who doesn't like food, okay, who will not try any other food apart from the breast milk, when he's hungry, try the other food, try the family food. A baby who is a little hungry and angry will reject this. Okay, but because he's hungry, don't also, when you're a mother at this stage, you know the signs. Don't wait for the baby to be very hungry, okay? So you start with this before you give the milk. Otherwise, when you give the milk and he's halfway full, he will not accept any other food. Okay, so most of the time I will encourage, with my experience, my children didn't like food at all. They will not. So when you give them, when you start with the breast milk and they are even halfway, they will not take anything. So when you tap yourself and you know it's getting to 2 hours, so I was doing 2 hours. So when I get to 1 hour, 45 minutes, I will start the introduction. So they will take a little, then before I add the milk. Yes.
Amazing. And do we continue part 3?
I think we will have to do
so
this
we need to
for
look for a lit like infants like 3 and also above, right?
Yes.
And of course, last week I got accosted at church that you were the reason why a friend in church in Chua was late. So I think the message is getting deep down. And thank you so much for the insights you've brought.
Are you sure we have finished?
My director says the time, but
I understand.
Yeah. Is there any final thing you wanted to say? Because there are a lot of things here.
The very final word I will give is we shouldn't overburden our babies with too much protein. Like I said earlier, just a tablespoon of protein, if it is fish powder or even if it is chicken and egg, a whole egg in a meal is too much. So let's try and give them the adequate, know your baby's weights and use the baby's weight to do the calculation. The baby's weight, if baby is 8 kg, multiply the 8 kg by 1.3. Don't take the ceiling of 1.8. So they will say feed between 1.3 to 1.8 of.
Amazing.
Yes, use the small one and use to do the calculation. Thank you very much.
We'll continue the conversation. Unfortunately, I'm being told there are messages to come, but time has read its ugly head. But I'm so grateful for your insights and taking us through this. We'll take a quick break. When we are back, we delve into sports. Don't go away.
Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel One TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agricultural exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery, this is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel One TV with support from 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, and Development Bank Ghana. This week on the Upside Down Show, the untouchable DJ Mensa joins Frema Edinyame and Nana Tufo.
Did you have to compete for a session? What was it like back then?
It's not like today. It was, first of all, even to get the equipment is a problem. I had to learn on the job because right after school, nobody was going to give me the equipment. I had to buy my first equipment with a story. There was a DJ that came from the UK. At that time, it was aphrodisiac. He was, don't touch this until I come. But I wanted to use it. He came and I was playing on set. Full house. He ejected
Are you serious?
the CDs out and threw them away.
Also featuring is Ash Benny, an energetic, vibrant musician.
With the rhythm of the music, everybody, challenge make we party with the rhythm of the music. We go party.
Do you love magic? Join us as Manuel the Magician does his stuff. Make a date with us this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt only on Channel 1 TV.
Welcome. It's Play to Aid.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to Aid, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Football. Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, play to aid. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese.
Play to Aid every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to Aid game show is proudly sponsored by Tang Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
Welcome back. This is Sunday Breakfast right here on Channel 1 TV. Myself, Jude Duncan, and we've just gone by for our nutrition segment. We're looking at foods you could give to your baby. But we'll delve into sports now because arguably the greatest football game in European football under the calendar year was played last night. Incredible game, high-end emotions, depending on which side you were, you were supporting. But Abeku, it was a game that really heralded the competition.
Absolutely, I love how you use that because of the history that surrounds this year's Champions League and the format. You know, it's a 36-team tournament as it started, and then some would have to be screened out and allowed the best stay. You know, dependent on where you fall, gets you an opportunity to play. You know, in the next phase and what have you. And interestingly, PSG were 15 on their league log. And again, interestingly, they lost their first 3 games. And then they had that, you know, revamp against Brest. And then they went on to against Liverpool. And then they started to fine-tune themselves. And they believed. This is a manager who won the tournament with Barcelona in 2015. And you could recall that.
A decade ago.
Yeah, absolutely. That's when the daughter, may her soul rest in peace, Zana, you know, planted that. That was in Berlin, right? Berlin. Planted the Barcelona flag at the center of the pitch. He said he had wanted to replicate that, but unfortunately, the girl lost her life due to cancer of the bone. And then, you know, the memories was with the coach, was with the man, and he lived with it. He was so emotional when they got to the final because he envisaged things that had happened in Berlin in that period, and you know that the memories. But he's a coach that's well coached this side. They played quality, top-notch football.
That was a 5-star performance.
I promise you, and there's no better word. You know, for the team. It could have been
6 or 7 or 8.
It could have been very embarrassing for the 3-time winners. They looked so ordinary. Achebi looked like a 45-year or 43-year-old man.
Even Lautaro.
Even Lautaro. There was no connection up front, like absolutely zero connection. At a point in time, I was like, there's no shot on target. And you could see...
Their midfield was non-existent.
And strangely, they packed the midfield. It was a 3-4-4, no, not a 3-4-3. It was a 3-5-2. So the midfield was packed.
But it was non-existent again. They were completely outrun and out.
Because of the young guys who lined
exactly. Up. So Vitinha, Doué,
Kvaratskhelia, right?
Yeah. But Kvaratskhelia was even further up, so it was like
further up,
Vitinha.
Okay, you're talking about the died midfield after the defense.
So
okay.
Vitinha, Doué, and this other guy. Is it Pacho? No, the guy who scored against Arsenal.
Yeah, name skipped me a little. But look, the orchestration and their link-up play up front was excellent. When they decided to want to soak the pressure a bit and rely on the counter, the likes of these three guys are Dembele,
Kvaratskhelia.
Oh my goodness!
You think it was a
season? What a season! That describes the Champions League for this year in its format. It puts it up there. Because
5-0 in the final, they are not sure.
Say
5-0 in the final. If you score somebody 5-0 group stage, round of 16. Charlie, final. It means that you had no business. You know, so it means that even Barca have probably given us a better final because there was no competition whatsoever.
Well, you can never tell. You can never tell. Football is a strange game. You know, you can never tell. It is when a team is in a certain mood. They've been the best team in Europe. You know, as it stands, PSG. It's arguable though, but they won the Champions League, and that's a European competition. It stands them out.
At the point in their history, they had Mbappe, they had Neymar, and they had Lionel Messi. These three, arguably, at a point in their careers, were the best in the world.
The greatest in the world.
Do you feel like they were a better side or a more collective unit because they took out these individualistic players, you know, by their way of play,
absolutely,
and became a better team because they were in there?
100%. They needed a team,
not individual brilliance.
Yeah. So this proves, one, satisfying the condition to spend a lot for this club, and over the years, the kind of result they wanted, you know, has shown in going the hard way, getting the expensive. It didn't work. Getting the guys with the big egos, getting coaches who have done it. It explains it better that they needed the crop of players who believe in themselves. There's no pressure. Players who would have a big coach, respect him, and control their ego to get them just to love football.
So the collective over the individual.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Let's move to another competition, right? Not as high profile, not as big, not as flashy, but for a lot of people had like sentimental national pride. I'm referring to the Unity Cup. we beat.
Dude, for a moment, I thought I was talking about something.
No. I mean, the time because of time. We beat Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yeah, it'll be Trinidad and Tobago.
4-0.
Yeah, 4-0.
Why are people not talking about the fact that we keep the clean sheet? Because the last time the last time was busy. Benjamin Asare has kept a clean sheet. You know, when we lost against Nigeria, we didn't hear anything. But all of a sudden, we are not hearing. You know, just talk to us the game. You know,
the game, brilliant game. I'm a strong critique of these Black Stars if they are not playing well, because I believe that's our national identity. And I'm not mentioning West. This is the product that gives us a lot of money and world recognition. We need to play at a certain level, and with some connoisseurs of the game, they've highlighted that enough. That this is the team that needs to play. We should be the model of football in Africa. Fortunately, we are not. So yesterday's game, I love the youngsters, the Lawrence, the Ajekum guy, the former West African Football Academy guy. I watched him, followed him in the league, and to see him with that, you can call it useful exuberance, wanting to produce more, was magic. And that Rasta guy, I forgot his name for a second, fantastic guy, and we need this to happen a lot. Give the young lads opportunity. Yesterday from when I was thinking, we need more friendly matches.
Yeah.
We need a lot of friendly matches. Yeah. To get these guys, these young guys, the opportunity. This is the next crop of the Black Stars generation who can play. Aside the big names that we know. Yesterday, I loved Jordan Ayew's goal. He just was sort of sweeping the ball across the D, took his time, steadied the goalkeeper a little, used the number 24 guy as a mirror, or if you want, a wall, and then just kicked the ball around him straight into the net. Fantastic goal scored.
Talk to me about Christopher Babu. I think a lot of people have said he has been a standout performer in this two games.
Yeah. I mean, he's been super excellent. So football is more about techniques and little. If you get the basic things of football right, and you add you see, Lionel Messi learns the basic thing of football, but his talent and what he thinks on his feet to do made him an excellent player.
That's what sets him apart.
Absolutely.
Afena Jan, he's, and I'm sorry I'm trying to keep it very short because of time.
Yeah.
Afena Jan, he's been in and out of the team. Great talent, but hasn't really worked for him in a couple of weeks. What do you make of his cameo in this competition?
I feel he was rushed into the Black Stars. He was playing under Jose Mourinho at Roma, had opportunity. Mourinho spoke well of him. Mourinho gave him some boots in the past because he did well. He promised him. And then we called him into the Black Stars. I feel we rushed him. I feel we could have taken him to the under-23s, if not, you know, to try and groom him to become the star at that level, get more playing time at Roma, because at the point in time he had to fall out of Roma, go for loan and try and get his shape because he was not getting playing time. And as a footballer, like Dominic Edia, a fantastic chap, goes into the AC Milan squad in that period when they finish the under-20 and gets to struggle because you need playing time at a club of your level first. So when you're able to achieve that, you can go the next level into the Black Stars.
So the integration should be deliberate.
It should be intentional, gradual.
If we had played the same way we played with Trinidad and Tobago against Nigeria, you think we would have been in the finals?
Yeah.
You think we underestimated the Nigeria game?
Oh, no, and...
or maybe the quality of opposition was not there.
The quality of opposition. The quality of opposition. Because,
well, there's that too.
Because it's like, we need to do I call this
period. But we played well against Nigeria, though. You know,
in the second half.
In the second half.
Yeah, we played quite well against
in the second half. And we need to learn as a country now to be starting games on the right footing. Like, we need to start game with our A plan.
Partial.
Yeah, you know, and if we can finish the game, finish it all. You know, now we put ourselves in some jinx to come and calculate. If you beat this one, beat this one, it's frustrating. And finish games of first half, we are beating somebody 2-0, 3-0. We are coming in the second half to just defend it and what have you. For the first time, I saw something Otuado would want to do. If this is the clear handwriting of this coach, consistency is important. That's why I'm calling for a lot of friendly games. We need to be consistent with this, I call this category C national team, if not D. So play the Ds for a moment, have dominance, and confidence built up. They'll move into the Cs or Bs before we can think about playing the Englands again, playing the Spains again, the Brazils again, and what have you. You get, because those teams, because they've built themselves to that level, if we're going to play them in a friendly or what have you, we need to pay them. So play.
So we have the new fastest man in Ghana for the year, Saminu.
Yeah, and it can't be any other country on this continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it cannot be any other country.
You know, when we say fastest man, we are not that's not to say he's beaten previous world records, right?
Okay.
But for the
Ghana.
year.
For the year.
Yeah.
For Ghana.
For Ghana.
But in the world.
And for the world as well. Yeah, in the world as well.
But he's not...
Explain that.
So we play in seasons, right? So we have seasonal competitions scattered. Okay, the year under review. So at the year under review, we need to come and calculate, the best times within the various... So now as he's made this time, there could be another event that somebody might just come up with a better time. So in that period, there could be rankings again, then he adjusts,
so what's his time?
So 9.86.
What's the Usain Bolt's world record again? 9.4 something.
Yeah. I've forgotten the exact records, but yeah, somewhat.
It shows you how
I'm guessing he has
that Usain.
He doesn't train here and he's outside.
Yeah, he's in the US.
Yeah,
he's US based. They are schooling, right?
No, yeah.
I think he's in South Florida Uni.
Yeah.
Or? Probably. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
See, that's the most important. Your question, it was in my mind, so I didn't get the last bit you spoke about. The facilities that athletes train on is material. It's super important because it gives them not only the bit of training well and what have you, it gives them the confidence. He looks at, hey, this is me, I'm training at, a world facility. Say, Chelsea, what's your training ground? Cobham. And he sees the facility, he sees even gym equipment and what have you. He sees the tracks, the tartan that he's going to run on, and he feels energized. He tells himself that even if he's running against the wind, he knows that, look, this is a plus for me. So if I make it right, it stands out. It's not like a minus. Okay? So, it's about the facilities. And it sharpens, and you have no idea. Because if you have the right dietitian, if you have the right, sleeping routine, and you don't have the right facilities, you're not going to be a best athlete. Even if you have the best coach. Because you need the facilities to get you up. I feel that we should start focusing on these guys who are out there for athletics. as we gather the guys here, when we gather the guys here, I feel so it will be a good opportunity to introduce them into scholarships.
All right.
I get it.
Our director is getting frustrated.
I get it.
But thank you so much for joining us on Sunday Breakfast. As usual, it's always a pleasure to have you. Do join us again next weekend. I'm Inu Safo.
I'm Jude Duncan.
And I am Bernard Abeko.
Bye.
Welcome to Adoration on Channel 1 TV. This is the only show that allows you to draw closer to God through worship and the Word. Adoration seeks to engage all communities in worship. And today we are going to have a spirit-filled episode with the anointed man of God, Osborne Agbodovi, and his team. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere as we enter into a time of worship. Welcome to Adoration with me, Edinam Bright Davis. Now, welcome back to Adoration with me, Edinam Bright Davis, right here on Channel 1 TV. Today, we have the anointed man of God, Osborne Agbodovi, and his team. Osborne, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, welcome back to Adoration. It's always been a joy worshiping with you. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, by the grace of God, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. And I see that the team is ready to just take us away. What's been happening with you, though?
It's been ministry, work, back and forth, and just by the grace of God, we are good.
Yeah, the grace is keeping us. We can't wait to hear you worship, and we welcome you in. Join us as we worship.
Wherever you are joining us, want to lift your voice and begin to bless the name of the Lord. Want to spend some time and begin to bless the name that is above every other name. Spend some time in the name of Jesus. We give you your glory in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Wherever you are watching us from, just lift your voice and say, thank you, Jesus. 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 Thank you, Jesus.